Chronicles of the Stellar Mecha War. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 801, God's Daughter. It was Kyan Leo who confirmed that Lin Fan had no talent for cultivation, and no one had doubted it. But no one expected that she, with her star body, fought with the ugly woman to death, but unexpectedly obtained a thunder pool whose hidden place was unknown and whose reserve was difficult to estimate. Although elements are not divided into superior and inferior, under limited conditions, thunder does have a great suppressive force on other element of the same position, not to mention the extremely strong damage attribute of thunder itself. In this thunder pool that is like a cheat, once the power of thunder and lightning pours out, I'm afraid only the big guys of the level of Kyan Leo, Kyansu Lord, and senior brother can deal with it. Therefore, after having such a powerful plugin to support it, when arranging Lin Fan and Mijao to learn to control thunder and lightning, no one thought of measuring Lin Fan's spiritual affinity value to see if she can practice after the environment is improved. Mijao is already a top echelon under the three big guys in the Special Affairs Office. She has worked hard to practice all her life, and the water element reserve in the spiritual power library is nothing compared to Lin Fan's thunder pool. With such a heaven-defying golden finger, why would Lin Fan bother to cultivate immortality? As long as she can master the thunder skills, her strength will rise sharply and catch up with the three big guys. It's hard to say for Kyan Leo, but Zhu Kunjin felt that if the Kyansu Lord and Lezingguan King put aside their experience and skills, they might not dare to confront Lin Fan, who has full thunder skills. This is not counting the power of Xingqian's Mecha. With these two powerful weapons, Lin Fan can walk sideways in Langsing. It's so awesome. And all her previous hardships seem to have become the road to gain these abilities. Her life has completely turned around, and good things have come. After the test results came out, even Wu Yusen rarely felt unfair. Envy, jealousy, and hatred. The NEAT values looked like a standard full score example, which once made everyone think that there was something wrong with the machine. After confirming that the data was accurate, everyone fell into a long silence. Li Chunhe looked at the numbers on the test report in her hand speechlessly. Just now, the joy of being able to practice, because of passing the passing standard suddenly faded. Even Song Ren, whose stats were much higher than Th's, seemed to be a bird in the sky in front of Lin Fan. Lin Fan was floating high in the clouds, maybe even higher, while the last few people fell directly to the ground. You are God's daughter, right? Li Chunhe asked Lin Fan with a bitter face, not smiling or crying. Who can cheat like this? Mecha, thunder pool, and even full element affinity? Li Chunhe felt tired and covered her face with her hands. The excitement was poured down directly. It's not afraid of comparing goods, but it's afraid of comparing people. It's okay, brother. Gao Fei stepped forward and hooked his slightly bulging shoulders to comfort him. Think of things on the bright side. Although our stats are not high, at least we have passed the line. It's always a good thing to be able to practice. Gao Fei's stats were slightly higher than Li Chunhe's, and they were truly brothers in distress. Although he was also surprised by Lin Fan's high stats, he had seen living people transform into mechas, so he was more accepting of it now. Besides, he really regarded Lin Fan as his sister, so he was happy for her after a while of disappointment. Gu's stats were higher than his, which made him more concerned. Li Chunhe was listless, and responded to him in a listless manner. That's what I said. It made sense, but he just felt uncomfortable. Why is the gap between people so big? Exclamation mark. Is it because Sister Lin has the energy of the world tree? Gu quickly thought of the key. More than that. Wu Yusen replied, when we fought the ugly woman, the world tree was not as big as it is now. At that time, a lot of energy that fell on Xingqian was absorbed by her. If the energy purity is converted according to the size of the energy tree, Wu Yusen calculated in his mind, the energy purity in her body should still be relatively high, equivalent to a small branch of the origin of the world tree. Maybe it is equivalent to a small branch of the world tree, so it is very compatible with the spiritual energy of the same energy variant. Everyone had not thought about this before because of Kyan Leo's ironclad judgment. Now that the facts are in front of them, it seems that everything is reasonable. Xingqian and Apollo can freely pass through the defensive state of the barrier because they contain the energy of the origin of the world tree in their bodies. What about Antonio's value? Song Ren asked. His value is far ahead of the team members, but with Lin Fan's words, he is not good enough. The staff quickly adjusted Antonio's value. It is not high, but it is much higher than Song Ren, and the value is balanced. He received a little energy from the world tree after being struck by the star lightning. It's not much, so the value is average, not high, but enough. Wu Yusen pondered for a moment and looked at Song Ren again. When you receive the energy from the world tree, the value should increase. People like you who absorb energy directly from the world tree should have a higher starting point of talent than us, and the progress will be faster. Oh, you can also go directly to the world tree to add talent points. Li Chunhua was eager to try. Then can you add some for me? The value directly affects the speed of spiritual power absorption and the speed of later cultivation. Who wants to be slow when they can be fast? The process of absorbing spiritual energy is originally a process of increasing energy. Wu Yusen said, it's just that absorbing from the world tree is more direct, the energy is concentrated, and the purity is higher. We absorb the spiritual energy scattered in the air in our daily life, which is slower. I want it to be more concentrated and more direct. Li Chunhua raised his hand. Wu Yusen smiled. Why don't you talk to the ugly woman? Who doesn't want to get energy directly from the world tree? But except Lin Fan, no one else got it. Even Jin Sichen, the fake sister of the ugly woman, was considered to be deeply loved by the goddess, right? But she still didn't get a single leaf. Fu Guang had to absorb the energy of the world tree in order to enter and exit the barrier without hindrance. This matter had been put on the agenda for a long time. It was a matter of time. I think the ugly woman would not refuse in the end. As for how much energy she gave Song Ren, it's hard to say. It may be more than Antonio, or it may be less. Anyway, it is impossible to surpass Lin Fan. She pulled out half of the world tree at that time. Li Chunhua's hand fell to the back of his head embarrassedly. Well, what? Just pretend I didn't say it. They 800 also knew the reputation of the ugly woman. Even Xingqian didn't dare to confront a woman. Forget it. Let the boss bear her storm. Brother Wu, how are you? Li Chun began to be curious about Wu Yusen's value again. I'm between Jiyu and Gao Fei. Wu Yusen smiled. About the same as you. That's a good relationship. Li Chunhua was happy again. He had personally witnessed John Wu produce flames with his bare hands, and it had only been a few months. His values were comparable to his, so wouldn't that mean he could reach that level in a few months? Although Lin Fan had a high elemental affinity, her first task was to understand the lightning system first. As for other elemental abilities, perhaps they would have to wait for several years until they had learned enough before they would have time to start. This was like Lin Fan holding a golden nest, but not having the time to use it. It was the same as having nothing. Thinking of this, the frustrated Li Chunhua turned into a happy Li Han again. Chapter 802, Supernatural Academy. The School of Supernatural Powers is located in an old and dilapidated primary school in the suburbs of Gao that has been relocated to an area to be demolished. That place has been vacant for more than 10 years. Many houses have fallen into disrepair and are in a dilapidated state. It can be said that no one lives there, except for the muck trucks that occasionally come to dump construction waste at the edge in the middle of the night. Even the scavengers don't run here. Such good geographical conditions are just right for the Special Affairs Office. Although everyone knows that there are supernatural powers and that they can be cultivated, the school is just being established and many things are still in the exploratory stage. The office has decided not to make a big fuss and avoid people's eyes. Wu Yusen led a group of people walking around the campus while introducing. This school is built in the style of the 1980s. The building area is not large. The exterior looks weathered, and it is completely impossible to tell that it is the supernatural power school that has dominated the hot search list recently. In order not to attract attention, when the Special Affairs Office renovated the school, the doors, windows, and fences were repaired as old as before, and the main feature was that it could not be seen. But when you get closer and look inside the classroom, you will find a different world. The clean and tidy environment and high-tech equipment are exactly the same as the underground of the special office. Finally, there is that special smell. The group walked past the windows of each classroom, looking at a few or a dozen people sitting scattered in the classroom. Some were taking cultural classes, and some were sitting with their eyes closed. "Why can't I see any superpowers?" Lee Chun-ho asked. He thought that he would be able to see those dazzling and gorgeous scenes when he came to the Superpower Academy, but who knew that it was like visiting an ordinary school, and he was very disappointed. Wu Yusen smiled. "Do you think it is so easy to cultivate superpowers? In this class, including me, there are only 2 people who can materialize superpowers. Didn't you see it 2 days ago?" Lee Chun-ho thought of the spark that was as big as a mung bean and could only light a cigarette, and her disappointment was even greater. What? Gao Fei asked from behind. Wu Yusen took the opportunity to show it again, and Gao Fei was very surprised. "Our advantage is elemental affinity." Wu Yusen led everyone forward again. "But after class, you must first be able to understand, and how much you can comprehend is another matter. After comprehending, how much you can experience, and how to actually apply it is another matter. Don't think this process is too simple." As a pioneer who took the lead in achieving success, Wu Yusen is naturally proud of his progress ahead of everyone else, but he is also the most aware of the difficulties. Is it so difficult? Lee Chun-ho frowned. "That's true." Lin Fan continued. "When I was listening to the class, I was confused by the second sentence." Lee Chun-ho widened his eyes. In his impression, Lin Fan was still very smart. After all, he still got into college. Thinking about it, who didn't get into college? Is the road to cultivation going to fail? Is it so difficult? What confused me when I heard it? Gao Fei asked closer. Lin Fan looked up and thought, "It seems to sink the key into the danshan, embrace the origin, and keep the unity," she said uncertainly, and looked at Wu Yusen. "Yes, that's right." Wu Yusen nodded. "I understand key sinking into danshan, but what is Baoyu and Xiaoyi? Do you know?" Lin Fan turned around and asked a few people. Several people were silent. Ji Yu and Song Ren were thoughtful. Gao Fei frowned, and Lee Chun-ho just froze on the spot. It's over. His dream of cultivating immortals, why does it feel farther and farther away from him? There are many more to come. Anyway, I don't understand them, so I don't care. Lin Fan waved his hand nonchalantly. "Anyway, I have already made Thunder Pool, and it doesn't matter whether I can sense the element and use them for myself, so no one will ask me later. If you want to take this path, you should be mentally prepared." "Yes." Wu Yusen continued. "Element affinity is only the threshold for cultivation. Other conditions, such as comprehension, are equally important. Don't think that everything will be fine if the numerical value is qualified. Cultivation is against the will of heaven. To obtain extraordinary abilities, the efforts must be hard. This is the truth." Lee Chun-ho can understand it very well, but her mood is more complicated. By the way, Lin Fan saw Lee Chun-ho's face changing, and suddenly thought of another person. How is Zhu Ping? Is he still persisting in sensing tirelessly? Yes, he is still persisting. Wu Yusen couldn't help laughing when he talked about him. His value is actually a little bit away from the qualified line, so it is difficult for him to sense the element. But he said that the value is just a little bit off. As long as he works hard enough, it is inevitable that he will sense the element sooner or later. So what has he achieved now? Lin Fan was curious. Still standing still. Wu Yusen smiled and shook his head, but the higher-ups think that he can also be observed as a special case below the baseline. So when there is no mission, he can come to listen at will, and they didn't stop him. The element sensing baseline of the Supernatural Academy was also formulated for the first time. It is not absolute. It is just that through comprehensive comparison, it feels that it is easier to sense and practice above a certain value. But it does not mean that it is absolutely impossible to be below this value. It is just relatively more difficult. This difficulty is multiplied as the value decreases. But since there is a sensing value, no one can say that he has no possibility of practicing at all. After all, someone like Lin Fan who has full stats can't practice because he can't understand the lessons and can't comprehend the secrets of practice. How come Zhu Ping, who knows everything but lacks a little bit of sensitivity, can't practice. Zooping stats are really 2 points short of the passing standard. This stat is not too much, but not too little either, so the academy also wants him to be a test case, to see how likely it is that a low status individual with strong comprehension and perseverance can fight back. If he can successfully practice, then the baseline standard can be lowered in the future, and more people can enter the category of supernatural power practice. What about that red-haired guy? After listening to Lee Chun-hua, he felt that the difficulty of cultivating immortals was much greater than he had imagined, and couldn't help but think of the new friend he just made. Yes, where is Antonio? Lin Fan thought of it after he said it. Isn't he also in the Supernatural Power Academy? Why can't I see him? Antonio has the energy of the world tree. According to Affinity, he should be able to stand out in the academy after studying for so long. Could it be that the other person who revealed the energy element you just mentioned is him? Gao Fei asked with envy. Just as he said this, he saw Antonio in the next classroom, leaning over the table and writing furiously. He was the only student sitting in the classroom, and there was a teacher in front of the podium, with some simple H language written on the blackboard. Wu Yusen replied in a low voice, although the value is the highest, his comprehension. He tutted his lips. Can you expect a foreigner to understand these complicated words in a short time? He can't even speak accurately. Everyone was stunned, and they were careless. Everyone only remembered that Antonio's H language was good, and they could communicate normally, and for a moment they forgot that he was a foreigner. Most of the words of cultivation came from classical Chinese. Even Lin Fan, a native who went to college, could not easily understand the mysteries. It would be a miracle if Antonio could understand them in a short time. Based on his H language foundation, we specially arranged an H language teacher to let him learn from the beginning. Wu Yusen smiled. Learn like learning. Like learning. Actually learned. But it seemed as if he didn't learn. Didn't Antonio want to learn supernatural powers? The Special Affairs Office supported him and provided one-on-one teaching services, making Antonio feel at home. Lin Fan looked at the Chinese characters on the blackboard and Antonio, who was studying hard, and wondered how much of the arrangement of the Special Affairs Office was intentional. Chapter 803 Wang Fengfeng is worried. There are not many classrooms in the School of Supernatural Powers, and there are not many students. The first batch, including the non-staff Zooping and the part-time manager Wu Yusen, only has 50 people. According to the progress of each person, they are divided into several classrooms. In this way, it feels like the whole school is just 2 or 3 birds, sparse and a little deserted. I thought. The scene Lee Chun-hua saw was far from what he imagined. After the visit, the excitement of the whole person disappeared. I was looking forward to it. I thought supernatural powers were flying all over the sky. There were magical scenes everywhere. Wu Yusen laughed. It's too early. Maybe you can see it when you come again in 2 years. At the current School of Supernatural Powers, the abilities of the only 2 people who can use supernatural powers are too small. A flame as big as Wu Yusen's can be extinguished without water, and a larger one can be blown out with one breath, resulting in the fact that the protective magic tools originally prepared by the Special Affairs Office were useless. The whole school only has a large barrier to prevent outsiders from entering by mistake. The inside is really no different from an ordinary school. It's no wonder that Lee Chun-hua, who was eager to see the supernatural power, was disappointed. After watching it all, Lin Fan felt that he hadn't seen it. Brother Wu, it's better not to have too much expectation for some things. Gao Fei leaned close to Lee Chun-hua's ear and poked his lower back. Have you forgotten what happened this morning? Lee Chun-hua had forgotten about it, but now that he reminded her, she suddenly remembered it again, and her face turned pale. He turned his head stiffly and looked at Gao Fei. Gao Fei immediately knew that he had said the wrong thing and hid behind Gu guiltily, not daring to look directly at Lee Chun-hua's eyes. Okay. Wu Yusen reacted immediately, walked over and patted Lee Chun-hua's arm up and down, and rubbed it twice. Hey, I gave you a little more anger, now it's okay. Wu Yusen didn't actually use supernatural powers, and his ability didn't support him to do anything, but Lee Chun-hua immediately felt much better, and the air stuck in his throat seemed to be smooth. Among the current students in the academy, half are from the Special Affairs Office and half are from the Society. It's just a new building, so everything is still under exploration. Wu Yusen put his arm around Lee Chunhua's shoulders and said to Song Ren, it may take a few periods of adjustment before the entire teaching process can be more rational. It is inevitable that a lot of time will be spent and the progress will be slow. So if you want to apply for this kind of study, you must take this into consideration. Got it? Song Ren nodded. If we want to apply for supernatural learning, we must get 800's consent. I believe Chief CUI will have his own considerations. We will obey the arrangement. Wu Yusen nodded. Then there is nothing to visit in the academy. What are your plans next? He looked at Lin Fan. We've almost finished touring the institute, Lin Fan replied, looking at Gao Fei. Gao Fei wants to go back. I'm not going back. Gao Fei poked his head out from behind Gu. My grandparents are fine. They asked me to return to the team. There will be plenty of opportunities to accompany them in the future. Zhao Hei is looking after the family, so it's not a big problem. Okay, Lin Fan was not good at persuading people and asked others, let's play in Gao for a few more days or. Everyone looked at me, I looked at you, and finally looked at Song Ren. Gao is a consumption tourism city. Everyone has been to fun places. There are endless new internet celebrity spots, but they are just so-so after seeing one or two. If you don't want to stay in Gao any longer, then go directly to Harbin tomorrow. Song Ren made a prompt decision. Seeing that no one had any objections, Wu Yusen smiled and said, in this case, where do you want to eat tonight? Our institute will treat you. It's a brother's practice of 800. Everyone had no objections. In the end, Lee Chunhua said that he wanted to go to the cafeteria of the Special Affairs Institute. He still had a lot of delicious food that he hadn't had time to try. So, at dinner time, several people found 2 large wooden tables in the cafeteria and put them together. Even Wang Fengfeng and Antonio came to join in the fun. After eating, drinking, and chatting happily, several people went to the KTV in the living area to sing. Lin Fan rarely entered such a noisy environment and did not complain about it. He helped the microphone masters to beat the tambourine. Listening to their out-of-tune singing and screaming was also a special experience. The next day's flight was in the morning, and the college also had classes. Everyone didn't dare to make a fuss too late and went back after 12 o'clock. Wu Yusen first sent 800 people and Antonio back to the villa area. When Lin Fan was sent back to the office, only Wang Fengfeng was beside him. You don't want me to send you back, do you? Wu Yusen was tired after a busy day. He didn't bother to be polite with Wang Fengfeng and walked towards his office. I don't need it. Wang Fengfeng was a big night owl. The later he stayed, the happier he was. Compared with others, his day had just begun. I just wanted to talk to you. Wu Yusen glanced at him and continued to walk forward. It's the middle of the night. We're alone. What's there to talk about? Despite saying that, he still let Wang Fengfeng into his office, took out 2 bottles of mineral water, and handed one to him. Go ahead. What do you want to talk about? Wu Yusen sat on the sofa, unscrewed the cap of the mineral water, and took a few sips. Then can't you see that Song Ren has evil intentions towards Lin Fan? Wang Fengfeng felt like a eunuch. Ever since he saw the live broadcast of the two chatting under the moonlight at the beach that night, he has been worried to death. So, Wu Yusen leaned back, lowered his eyes, and took another sip. No, brother, if I understand correctly, you seem to like Lin Fan too, right? Wang Fengfeng was anxious. Wu Yusen was still unmoved, so. Wang Fengfeng was speechless. No, although I don't have much experience, I vaguely know that you shouldn't like someone like this, right? How old are you, and you still have a crush on someone? Song Ren seems to have confessed his love. Why aren't you in a hurry at all? Lin Fan is Lin Fan from their special affairs office. What if he really accepts Song Ren? He is a member of the 800th army. What about Anchor Wu? Let's not talk about whether Song Ren confessed his feelings that day. Wu Yusen took another sip of water. Anyway, the relationship between the two has not changed, and Lin Fan's attitude towards him has not changed at all. When did you Wang Fengfeng wanted to ask, but after receiving a glance from Wu Yusen, he admitted defeat and said, okay, you must have found a chance to investigate. But let's just say, if you like someone, do you have to say it out loud? In the past, we were concerned about Lin Fan's condition, and worried that Xingqian would go berserk, so everyone intentionally or unintentionally stopped her from having emotional contact. But now she is stable, and Xingqian is stable too. Which good girl doesn't have spring thoughts? Isn't it true that a good girl is sought after by hundreds of families? It's normal for her to date, get married and have children, right? Look, that red-haired guy has even followed us home. Do you think he really wants to learn superpowers? Didn't the higher-ups stop us? That means tacit approval. Even Song Ren, a popular freshman in biological armor, is not training at the base, but is following Lin Fan closely every day to show his affection. Why is that jackal named CUI from 800 so kind to give them a long vacation? There must be something profitable for him. What I mean is, if the higher-ups tacitly allow Lin Fan to have a partner, why can't you be the one? It's not like you don't like her. We have all seen how you treat Lin Fan. This is not the time to be humble. It's about the right to court a mate. It's normal to get your brains bleed. Besides, if you don't take the initiative, do you expect Lin Fan to take the initiative? I think she seems to be too stupid to think about it. But if someone gets the first chance, you will regret it. Chapter 804 Lin Fan's cowardice. Wu Yusen seemed to have not heard this long speech. He leaned his head back and rested his head on the sofa, not saying a word. It was so long that Wang Fengfeng felt a little urgent to pee. When he wanted to urge him to speak again, he finally heard him speak. You don't understand Lin Fan. Wu Yusen still tilted his head back and did not move. His voice was soft and firm. With her sensitivity to emotions, she knows a lot of things. Everyone thinks that Xingqian is so powerful now, as if Lin Fan is invincible from the outside to the inside. How many people can imagine that when facing feelings, she is still inferior and timid? Who in the world knows Lin Fan best? Apart from Jin Sichen, it must be Wu Yusen. It is precisely because of understanding and love that he is even more reluctant to make her feel embarrassed. She has low self-esteem about relationships? Wang Fengfeng thought of how Lin Fan had been smiling recently, looking relaxed and carefree. I really didn't notice that. Could it be because of her ex-boyfriend? Do you look down on Lin Fan too much, or do you look up to that ex-boyfriend too much? Wu Yusen glanced at him with disdain. Was that mediocre failed relationship enough to make Lin Fan unable to recover after a single setback? Wang Fengfeng looked at Wu Yusen's face, unsure of how objective his words were. Didn't you just say that? I was talking about relationships. Wu Yusen rolled his eyes at him. Family, love, friendship and all kinds of complex emotions are included in it. Why do you only think of your ex-boyfriend? Wang Fengfeng touched the tip of his nose, not intending to mention the word ex-boyfriend in front of Wu Yusen, his admirer. It's just inertial thinking. Please continue. Continue. There must have been hurt in the past, but the impact is not so far-reaching. Her timidity towards feelings is rooted in her family of origin. Wu Yusen said seriously, the hurt from blood ties is the root of her distrust of feelings. Because of Lin's mother? Wang Fengfeng could only shake his head speechlessly when he mentioned this middle-aged woman. Lin Fan has such a mother. Her mother is a perpetrator, and her father is not innocent either. There is no difference between the two. Wu Yusen suddenly wanted to smoke and rubbed his fingertips itchily, but finally did not move. But aren't we all keeping our distance and dealing with the situation coldly now? Wang Fengfeng asked. Lin Fan is now free from their influence and can even control her mother. Isn't that enough? John Woo shook his head. Some people spend their entire lives healing their childhood. What's more, the harm Lin Fan suffered was not only in her childhood. The most serious one even happened in the past few years. With her sensitive mind, it would be difficult for her to completely forget all this in such a short period of time. Open her heart and boldly accept new relationships. The harm will fade with time, but time is the most precious and cruel thing in the world. I still remember how she looked when she first came to the institute. Wang Fengfeng sighed. At that time, I thought she was afraid of contact with people because she was sick. Later, when she recovered, it was normal for her to communicate with us. I thought, many people are like this. They won't show their sadness in front of others. Wu Yusen continued, so it is not easy for her to open her heart under Jin Sichin's treatment in the company of the 800 people and give us new friends great trust. She always felt that her blood relatives could hurt her unscrupulously for various reasons, intentionally or unintentionally, or under the banner of family affection. Then how could strangers who are not related to her treat her well for no reason? She is bound to suffer more serious harm. In order to avoid this possibility, she simply refused to accept it. She once said that, if you don't get it, you won't lose it. Although it is a means of escape, it is indeed an effective self-protection measure. Family affection is her biggest demon. She is powerless to change it, nor can she break off all ties with it. She can only maintain the current balance. If she doesn't touch it, she won't be sad. It's like an obsession sealed in a vacuum glass box and put aside. Just watch it, and don't get close to it. As for love, John Woo changed his legs, and crossed his legs. Lin Fan is actually a very rational person. You know how hard she works. She worked so hard before, and got such a result. Whether in terms of emotions or energy, she will not easily gamble again with a success rate of less than 50%. And our new friends just happen to fill most of her emotional needs. Coincidentally, there are no bad situations that she can't deal with. Therefore, she is more tolerant of friendship and is more likely to accept new people as friends. To put it another way, friends are the most superficial communication partners. Even if they encounter unpleasantness or even break up, the emotional damage they suffer is very limited. So Lin Fan is not afraid of making friends, but is afraid of a certain degree of heart-to-heart talk. This kind of heart-to-heart talk is inevitable in love. She knows very well what she needs and what she wants to do. Among emotions, apart from the indelible family affection, love is the most difficult emotion for her to control subjectively, and the one that is most likely to hurt her. So she simply adopts an attitude of avoidance and ignorance, treating it as if it does not exist. In this way, she will never have the opportunity to endure the pain of love. Wang Fengfeng never thought that under Lin Fan's cheerful smile, he was actually afraid of being hurt. And what if I like her? Why do I say I like her now? Wu Yusen said self-deprecatingly. Wang Fengfeng didn't understand. Isn't love just that you like me, and I like you, and everyone is happy, if both parties are willing? He is sure that in Lin Fan's heart, he, Wu Jie, must be more important than that surnamed song. As long as Wu Jie opens his mouth, well, he can't be sure, but under the same circumstances, Lin Fan's probability of accepting Wu Yusen is definitely higher than that surnamed song Ren. Chasing a girl, still worrying about this and that, not early, dragging it on. What if Song Ren takes advantage of it? After all, the conditions there, even if Wang Fengfeng was reluctant, he had to admit that the other party was indeed good. We are not young people in our teens or 20s anymore. We are not so hot-headed and careless, just because we like someone. Wu Yusen smiled, and shook his head slowly. She is beautiful and kind-hearted. I won't say much about her. Just look at her most outstanding appearance. As one of the most powerful guardians of Langsing, Mecha Star, she not only has unparalleled combat power, but also has a huge energy pool in her body. Moreover, yesterday, she was tested to have full affinity for superpowers. How can I like such a strong Lin Fan? Can I just say 2 words lightly with my lips? Take. Wang Fengfeng choked. But without you. You want to say that, if it weren't for me, Lin Fan wouldn't have been discovered, and wouldn't be here today, right? Wu Yusen raised his head, his eyes full of solemnity. Seeing Wang Fengfeng nod, he smiled and shook his head. I just happened to appear at the right time. Believe me, Lin Fan's ability will burst out sooner or later even without me. When she was unconscious, she was thinking about saving people. With her personality, as long as she didn't die, the Mecha would be exposed sooner or later, and she would control it sooner or later. And the existence of the Mecha would make it even more impossible for her to die. So it's the same, whether I'm there or not, it's just a matter of time. My appearance only accelerated the process, made me more important in her heart, and took the lead, that's all. Chapter 805 John Woo's Favor. Wu Yusen drank the water in his hand in 2 gulps, and gently placed the empty bottle on the coffee table. He supported his arms above his knees, and lowered his head. But brother, Wang Fengfeng said, holding the unopened bottle, if you like someone, you like him. Why do you hide it? Isn't sincere love the most important? Before I discovered my feelings, I first discovered her shrinking. I don't want to embarrass her, so for the time being, it's fine to stay with her as a friend. Wu Yusen said slowly without raising his head, but later, I gradually felt that I was not worthy of her. He saw Lin Fan rush to the forefront of danger again and again, blocking others, including him, and the ability he once proud of was useless, and he could only watch her fall again and again. That was the girl he liked. He would laugh when he thought of her, and he wanted to accompany her for the rest of his life and cherish her in his heart. But he couldn't do anything. Wang Fengfeng was speechless. He didn't expect that Wu Yusen would be so inferior in love. He is the ace special agent of the Special Affairs Office. Everyone in the institute who wouldn't give a thumbs up when mentioning John Wu. He is handsome, has a good personality, is strong, and has good business skills. He doesn't know how many times he has heard the sisters in the institute talk about such a good husband. How could a man like him feel inferior when he meets someone he likes? But thinking about the fact that the target is Lin Fan, it seems understandable. Sometimes, I hope she is stronger. John Woo smiled softly, so strong that no one can hurt her, but sometimes, I hope she is weaker, so that I seem to have a chance to catch up with her. John Woo raised his head, and Wang Fengfeng saw the struggle in his eyes. I hope that in my relationship, I'm not the one who is always protected, who can only accompany and take care of the trivial matters of life, but can't help with other things when it is important. I hope that one day I can stand shoulder to shoulder with her, and I hope to help her shelter from the wind and rain, and have the ability to protect her. Brother. Wang Fengfeng felt a little distressed when he saw John Woo like this. Fortunately, God has been kind to me and has shown me a clear path to catch up with her. Wu Yusen smiled brightly. Don't be afraid of you laughing at me. The reason why I practiced my supernatural powers so hard is that I have a lot of selfish motives. In fact, I want to get closer to her faster. As long as I work hard, and work harder, I can get closer, and closer. Wu Yusen smiled, with light in his eyes. Maybe on that day, when I'm close enough to her, I will have the courage and position to tell her that I like her. Before that, I don't want my love to cause her any pressure, nor do I want to be a burden to the person I like. So, I beg you, forget what we said when you leave this door, and don't tell her. Wang Fengfeng looked at Wu Yusen like this, feeling a lot of emotions in his heart, and nodded slowly. Wu Yusen picked him up when he came, and Wu Yusen will naturally send him off when he leaves. Is it okay for you not to go to school today? Li Chunhe asked Wu Yusen, while holding the middle of the front driver's seat. Wu Yusen now has 3 jobs, special service, student, and college management, which sounds very busy. It's okay, there's still time to take you there. Wu Yusen smiled, and drove the car out of the parking space, looking relaxed. He must be worried about his wife. Lin Fan honked in the passenger seat. We've used the car for so many days. If there's any minor problems, we can hold you accountable on the spot while you're still here. Wu Yusen smiled lightly, drove seriously and didn't answer. See, I was right. Lin Fan slapped his thigh and laughed. Why do we hold you accountable while we're here? Li Chunhe was puzzled. Aren't you included? It has nothing to do with me. I'm just riding in the car. Lin Fan shrugged. That has nothing to do with me. I'm also riding in the car. Li Chunhe immediately replied. It's always the boss who drives. The two quarreled, making the atmosphere of parting less intense. Because Li Chunhe was always sitting in the front, the other 3 people in the back seat didn't sit so crowded. I say, is it really okay for the 4 of them to sit in the back? While Lin Fan and Li Chunhe were arguing with each other, he didn't forget to show concern. Normally, there should be 3 people in the back row. John Woo's Prado is wide and big, so it's a bit crowded to sit 4 strong men, but they can still sit. It's okay, as long as there are no traffic police checking on the road. John Woo said indifferently, there is no problem with safety. The load capacity of my car is not bad for 1 or 200 pounds. The Prado was modified to be a small armored car, and it really didn't need the weight of 1 person. Lin Fan was not worried about safety. She was afraid of John Woo's bad mouth. and she didn't care about arguing with Lee Chun-ho later. She stretched her neck to look left and right all the way, looking for traffic police who would check the car. In the end, she didn't see any traffic police at the airport. Instead, she felt her neck was very sore after relaxing. After getting off the car, Song-ren found that she was twisting her neck. He directly took action and kneaded her shoulders and neck for a few times. Lin Fan immediately felt much more comfortable. Because he had massaged Lin Fan every day in the activity room before, Lin Fan was accustomed to this kind of contact distance and didn't express anything special. Your craftsmanship is still as good as ever. Lin Fan gave him a thumbs up and suddenly remembered the moonlight that night and ran to the trunk to get his bag. Wu Yusen was standing at the back of the car waiting for everyone to get their luggage. Seeing this scene, his expression did not change, but he took a few steps forward and said a few polite words to Song-ren. I have to rush back to the college, so I won't take you upstairs. Wu Yusen shook Song-ren's hand. Please take care of Lin Fan. No trouble. Song-ren shook Wu Yusen's hand indifferently. The two men looked at each other, and their eyes were clear. Lin Fan didn't feel much about the separation this time. Anyway, she would be back in a few days, so this little time was not enough to make her feel sad. When there are rich women, it is natural to go to the first class. It has nothing to do with whether it is necessary or not. The main thing is that there is no shortage of money. When they arrived in Harbin, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the hottest time of the day. Lin Fan huddled in the airport gate and didn't want to go out. The hot air outside the door was blasting directly into her face. So Song-ren and Lee Chun-ho went outside to queue up for a taxi, leaving Ji-yu and Gao Fei to accompany Lin Fan at the gate. I thought Harbin's winter was so cold, so the summer would be cooler than other places, but it's even hotter than Gao. Lin Fan looked at the two people queuing outside through the glass door, and his clothes were soon soaked with sweat, feeling a little embarrassed. Gao is close to the sea after all, and is affected by the tropical ocean current monsoon climate, so it's not that hot in the summer, and not that cold in the winter. Ji-yu answered seriously. It's because of global warming that it's getting hotter and hotter in the summer. Gao Fei flipped through a travel brochure he picked up from the service desk and said, when I was a kid, there was no air conditioning, so we used electric fans. Although it felt hot, it wasn't as hot as it is now. That's right, look at the air conditioner now. Lin Fan pointed to the air outlet above his head. This compressor keeps exhausting hot air, and there's also the exhaust from the cars, the price of modernization. The three chatted a few more words about modernization and environmental changes, and then saw Lee Chun-ho waving outside, indicating that the car had arrived, and rushed out quickly. On the way from the glass door to the taxi, Lin Fan deeply felt the discomfort of alternating hot and cold. Sitting in the middle of the back seat of the taxi, he sighed at the air outlet of the air conditioner. Air conditioning, it's really the greatest invention. The 5 people were divided into 2 cars, Song-ren and Lin Fan, Lee Chun-ho in one, and Ji-yu and Gao Fei in the other. Song-ren was asking the co-pilot to show the way, while Lin Fan and Lee Chun-ho were chattering in the back, thinking about what to play and what to eat next. After settling several people in a hotel near home to rest temporarily, Song-ren went home alone with his bag on his back. He did not inform his family about his return this time, on the one hand, because he was not sure about the time, and on the other hand, because he was a little homesick. When he opened the door, the house was empty, no one was there. It was almost 5 o'clock, and usually at this time, dinner would be almost ready. Grandpa Song and Grandma Song would sit in the living room, one watching TV, and the other listening to the news on the radio. Did he go out to visit a friend? Song-ren was about to go into the house, to put down his things, and make a phone call to ask, when the door opposite opened. Hey? Song-ren is back to see your grandpa? Chapter 806. Report good news, not bad news. Song-ren's grandfather had been hospitalized for a while, and the Song family was often in the hospital to take care of him, so no one was seen at home. The previous generation of the Song family were all old revolutionaries. They knew that Song-ren's work was special, and they were afraid that he would worry about affecting his work, so they ordered the family not to tell Song-ren. When Lin Fan and his friends arrived at the hospital, they saw Song-ren at the end of the corridor. His face was not very good, and he was still smoking. It was the first time for several people to see Song Ren smoking. They felt that the matter might be a little serious, so they all stopped and did not dare to step forward. When Song Ren saw them, he crushed the cigarette and took the initiative to walk towards them. As he approached, Lin Fan smelled a not so light smell of tobacco, and looking at the cigarette butts in the distance, Song Ren didn't know how many cigarettes he had smoked. Is Grandpa okay? Lee Chun-ho asked anxiously. It's okay. Song Ren's face looked better. It's just that he is old, fell down, and broke his bones. It's not a big problem. He took a few people to a ward and pushed the door open. Grandpa Song was lying on the bed with one arm and one foot in plaster. He looked fine and was happily fiddling with his small radio. When he saw a few young people coming in, he immediately greeted them with a smile. "Oh, I'm so sorry that you came all the way to the hospital to see me." His voice sounded full of energy, and it seemed that there was really no problem with his health. At least it seemed so. Several people finally breathed a sigh of relief and greeted the old man with a smile. Lin Fan even took out the medical records at the foot of the bed and looked through them with Gu Gaofi. You know, the fall of the elderly can be serious or minor. Many people with bad luck can die after a fall. Moreover, when the elderly are old, they will recover more slowly and have a longer course of illness than young people when they encounter these not so serious illnesses. Of course, the pain will last longer and the patient will naturally suffer more. Of course, compared with other major diseases, a simple fracture seems to be a blessing in disguise. 4 people sat in a row in front of Grandpa Song's bed, each holding an apple, all peeled by Song Ren. Eat, eat. Grandpa didn't even bother to play the radio and talked to the younger generation with great interest. "I heard from Song Ren that you just got off the plane. You must be exhausted. Haven't you eaten yet? Let him take you to eat something good later." "No, no." Lin Fan waved his hands repeatedly. "Let Captain Song stay here with Grandpa. We can take care of the meal ourselves. You don't have to worry about us." Lee Chun-ho and others responded. "What can happen to me here?" Grandpa Song's face was red, and he smiled so hard that his teeth were not visible. "It's just that I'm old and my recovery is slow. My family is worried, so they let me live in this broken hospital." Grandpa Song wanted to go home, but his father and mother had not retired yet, and Grandma Song was also old. They were afraid that there would be another accident, which would add to the injury. It would be better to let Grandpa Song stay in the hospital until it was more convenient to remove the plaster. They are veterans, and their medical expenses can be reimbursed, so the economic cost is not large. It's just that the old man is controlled by doctors and nurses in the hospital every day, and he feels very restrained, and it's not as convenient as at home. But he also knew that staying in the hospital was indeed the best option for everyone. Thinking back then, when I was on the battlefield, what injuries did I not suffer? The old man wanted to comfort the younger generation. Broken arms and legs are nothing, and here I was shot. As the old man said this, he lifted the quilt and wanted to lift his clothes. "Okay." Grandma Song appeared in time and held down the excited Grandpa Song. "You should also consider the occasion. Who wants to see your old wrinkled skin?" Everyone greeted Grandma, and then Song's mother came in. Grandpa Song only then remembered that Lin Fan was a girl, and his behavior of lifting clothes was really not good. He was a little embarrassed and didn't say anything. Grandma Song and Song's mother chatted with a few people for a while, and when they knew that no one had eaten, they immediately drove them away. "Okay, we are all here. Song Ren, you can take everyone to eat quickly. Grandpa has nothing to do here. You can play your own things. You don't need to stay in the hospital all the time. You don't have to come in the evening. Your father will come to accompany you. You can go back and have a good rest." Song Ren nodded, stood up and invited everyone to eat. Song Ma and Song Nene were both pulling a few people aside and pushing them out of the door. Because of this sudden situation, although they were all hungry, they were not in a good mood to eat. Song Ren didn't have an appetite either, but he remembered that he was the landlord. After asking for everyone's opinions, he took people to a barbecue restaurant with a good reputation. As soon as they sat down, Song Ren came up and asked for a beer before ordering the dishes. Lin Fan and the others looked at each other and ordered the dishes calmly. Song Ren usually had a cold face and a look of keeping strangers away during training, but it was different today. He didn't say anything, and the few people exchanged glances for a long time without knowing what to say. The air pressure around the small table was once frighteningly low. Fortunately, after the food and wine came, the atmosphere eased a lot. Song Ren rubbed his face, sighed, and began to invite everyone to eat. Don't be sad. Lin Fan was also not good at comforting people. When faced with this situation, he didn't know what to say. After thinking for a long time, he spit out these dry words. Grandpa Song will be well again soon. They had just talked about it in the ward, and next week Grandpa Song would be able to remove the cast and go home. Of course, it would take some time for him to walk freely, but he will be well again. I know. Song Ren raised his glass and smiled apologetically at Lin Fan. Don't worry about me, I was thinking of other things. He raised his glass and clinked it with the other three. I'm sorry, I wanted to take you guys out to play, but I encountered this as soon as I landed. I guess I can't accompany you to have fun later. I hope everyone will forgive me. Boss, what are you talking about? Lee Chun-hua put his glass down immediately after hearing him say this. What's our relationship? Your grandfather is my grandfather. Our grandfather is like this. How can we still think about playing? That's right. Gao Fei has the deepest feelings for his grandparents, and he feels the same at this moment. You can't play at any time. Grandpa's business is more important. The old man is more important. Captain Song is busy with yours. Just tell us. If you need us, you're welcome. Ji also said. Yes, yes. Lin Fan also nodded. You can play anytime. Grandpa is important. You just go and take care of Grandpa. How about we take turns to accompany Grandpa? Let uncle, aunt, and grandma have a good rest for a few days. Lin Fan's proposal was unanimously agreed by everyone, but Song Ren smiled and shook his head. Thank you for your kindness, but no need. My grandpa is almost well now and doesn't need special care. It is necessary for me to go. To be honest, if you go, the old man will feel uneasy. Think about it, it is indeed true. The old man will be happy if his grandson goes to accompany him. But after all, they are not close to that extent. If they make the old man restless, it will be detrimental to his recovery. So they gave up the idea. Although I can't accompany you, you should have fun. My grandpa is fine. Don't act like something has happened. It's not a big deal. Song Ren looked at the calm and solemn expressions of the few people and smiled. That's because you scared us, boss. We really thought something was wrong when we first saw it. Lee Chun-hua muttered softly. Song Ren's smile froze, his finger stroking the wine glass, and explained after a moment. Before, it wasn't because of Grandpa's illness, but more because of the family's concealment, which made me feel uncomfortable. This time he was just injured, but his family kept it a secret from him. If he hadn't come back by coincidence and happened to encounter it, he might never know about such a thing in the future. Then in his family life that he thought was safe and smooth, how many things were concealed by his family? He thought everything was fine, but in fact, his family only reported good news and not bad news. Chapter 807, A Beautiful Life. The behavior of reporting good news but not bad news seems to be very common in the life pattern of the H country people. For those who are not close, it is probably to maintain a beautiful and decent appearance. And when facing close relatives and friends, it is more to prevent them from worrying about themselves. Song Ren's family does this, and the families of Lee Chun-hua, Gao Fei, Ji and even Lin Fan are the same. On the other hand, don't they also report good news but not bad news to their families? Not to mention the distant past, just Song Ren, who had just gotten up after lying in bed for half a year. His family didn't know about his miserable appearance before, and they thought he was on a closed mission during that time. Lin Fan is the same. He narrowly escaped death twice, but didn't he keep it a secret from his family? Even her family doesn't know what she is really doing now. Lin's father and mother don't know at all that Xingchen, whom they think of most, is their biological daughter who was once despised and lived as a waste. When Lee Chun-hua's daughter was watching the golden Mecha in the video and clapping her hands happily, she didn't know that the driver inside was her biological father. All these honors and pains were hidden and unknown. As for the various hardships in training or life, everyone spontaneously ignored them and would not confide in their families. Every time they contacted each other, the most repeated words from both sides were everything is fine and don't worry. Everyone was a thorough implementer of reporting good news but not bad news. As soon as Song Ren said this, there was a silence at the small table. Lee Chun-hua thought of his family's courtyard, Gao Fei thought of his grandparents, and even Lin Fan couldn't help but think of Lin's father and mother. Gu, who wanted to escape from Gao, also lowered his eyes and said nothing. Actually, Lee Chun-hua broke the silence, but didn't know what to say, so he picked up the wine and drank half a glass. There's nothing we can do about the nature of our work, Gu said. There's no way to owe your family, and there's no way to hide it from your family. They were ready for this on the first day they entered the military and put on their uniforms. But everyone knows the truth, and when they really encounter it, they still feel indebted emotionally. In terms of work performance, they have successfully protected Langsing from the invasion of the Zerg, and protected the country and the people's property from invasion. In terms of status, they have also ranked among the top of the pyramid with the highest combat effectiveness. In theory, they have been able to repay their families for their efforts, right? But these are not equal replacements, and no matter how well they perform at work, they will not feel better in the mood of indebtedness. Moreover, the stronger their abilities and the more powerful their mechas are, the greater the chance that they will be sent to the most dangerous front line when a crisis comes, and the higher the casualty rate. They are not afraid of hardship and danger, nor are they afraid of bloodshed and sacrifice, but every time they think of their families, they can only train harder and improve their strength to reduce the chance of themselves being in danger. But no matter what they do, this kind of family loss caused by long distance is still powerless. It is not just a group like them, but thousands of workers who work away from home in the world have this problem. If they can choose, who would not want to stay in a familiar place and enjoy the warmth of family? But there are always various reasons to stay away, reasonable or unavoidable, so that hundreds of millions of people are scattered all over the country, running around everywhere, and jointly building the prosperous country age today. Where there are people, there are rivers and lakes. Some things can't be avoided no matter what. Gao Fei shook his head and sighed. What kind of broken metaphor is that? Lee Chun-hua frowned and put down the wine glass. It should be said that people's 7 emotions and 6 desires cannot be avoided. Gao Fei blinked, not thinking that Lee Chun-hua's words were much better than his. They were both irrelevant descriptions. Sorry, Lin Fan raised his hand. I don't. What do you mean you don't have? Lee Chun-hua turned around and asked. 7 emotions and 6 desires. I don't have them. Lin Fan pointed at himself seriously. I'm the great fairy who has cut off all emotions and love. Ha. Song Ren showed the first sincere smile of the night. Without waiting for Lee Chun-hua to refute, he indulged. Yes, you are the great fairy who has cut off all emotions and love. Come, toast to the great fairy. Everyone raised their glasses and pushed back the words Lee Chun-hua was about to say in response. Just then, a few new skewers were served, and the atmosphere became lively again as they ate and drank. Song Ren talked about some places in Harbin that they didn't visit last time. The routes had been planned, but he just couldn't participate. He said that Gug and Lee Chun-hua asked questions from time to time, while Lin Fan and Gao Fei ate voraciously. Suddenly, there was some noise not far away, followed by the sound of broken glass, and the quarrel between women and men. The unpleasant words came over without any hesitation. After a while, even the whole table was overturned. Everyone at Song Ren's table stood up and looked at the scene. They saw a man cursing and raising his hand to rush towards the 2 women who were a few steps away from him. Just as he raised his leg to save people, he saw several strong men standing up at the neighboring table closer to the table. He thought it was the man's external aid, but he saw that the men held down the cursing man. Several muscular men wearing tight t-shirts showed that they were muscular. I don't know if they were gym coaches or something. They surrounded a man who was not very tall, but he still looked very scary. Who are you? The swearing man obviously hadn't reacted to the situation yet, and he roared and wanted to rush forward. The swearing man would never let him get away, and he held him down tightly. Hey, brother, if you have anything to say, let's talk it over. It's not human to hit a woman. Seeing this, Lin Fan and the others put their raised feet down again. What do you know? The swearing man couldn't struggle free and was threatened by these tall men. Although his face was still red, his rationality returned a little. He stretched out his arms and pointed at the two women outside the encirclement and shouted, "Do you think they are good people? Who are you scolding? Who are you scolding?" The two women hugged each other, and when they saw someone helping them, their momentum, which had been shrinking, rose again, and they screamed, "We don't care what they do. You can call 110 whether you have a reason or not, but we can't let you hit a woman under our noses. That's what losers do. The good reputation of us grown men has been ruined by people like you." The man became even angrier, but he knew he couldn't beat the muscular man, so he doubled his anger on the two women. The two women naturally couldn't admit defeat, and they cursed at each other across the encirclement, which gave Lin Fan a headache. Fortunately, after a while, several policemen came over. After understanding the situation, they couldn't mediate on the spot, so they took the three people to the police station. As they walked away, cursing, the strong man sat back at his table and ate and drank, as if nothing had happened. Lin Fan and his friends also sat down and smiled at each other. The people and public security in Harbin reacted very well. Although friction between people is inevitable, all parties can stop the situation from escalating in time and kill the signs of danger in the cradle. How can such a living environment not make people feel at ease? This is the home they have been thinking about and worth protecting. Cheers to a better life. Lin Fan was touched and raised his glass to drink. Unexpectedly, the people at the next table heard it and responded. Cheers to a better life. Cheers to your hard work. For a while, outside the barbecue restaurant, toasts were heard one after another. The aroma of the sizzling barbecue rose up with laughter and joy, leaving a strong and colorful mark in the memory of this ordinary night. Chapter 808. Plans can't keep up with changes. The next day, several people went out according to Song Ren's arrangement. But because of Grandpa Song's matter, everyone didn't have a good time and couldn't help but worry about him. How about, Lin Fan suggested during lunch, let's stop here this time. Everyone looked at her. You don't have much time to spend with your family. You have been with me for so many days this time. There are not many days left. There is nothing fun to play. Just go back to spend time with your family. Lee Chun-ho and Gao Fei were somewhat tempted. Originally, they all thought that it was a rare group activity and it would be better not to miss it if possible. After all, there would be few opportunities in the future. But now Song Ren is not here, and although there is nothing special to worry about Grandpa Song's situation, it is always easy to make people think of their own family. I have no objection. Gu calmly stretched out his chopsticks to pick up the food. But I won't go home. I will go back to the base directly. What about you? Lee Chun-ho asked Lin Fan again. I'm going back to the Special Affairs office. Lin Fan said with a smile. Before the octopus man came, I was learning lightning control skills in the Special Affairs office. I've been delayed for so long that Wu Yusen can produce flames. I have to hurry up. In fact, during the time when he was fishing with the octopus man, Mijao also taught Lin Fan the control skills of supernatural powers from time to time. But maybe because of the environment, she just talked about whatever she thought of. Lin Fan did understand a lot, but it was all a hammer and a stick here and there. He learned a little bit of everything, but it was not complete. So he needs to learn systematically later. This time, without the company of Wu Yusen and Zuping, Lin Fan had to face the terrible teacher Me alone. Gao Fei scratched his head. If we leave like this, won't it be bad? Then what can we do here? I played around in the morning, and I didn't see you feel happy. Gu retorted. The four people went out to play. Only Lin Fan and Gu didn't have too many concerns about their families, and their emotions were slightly better, but they kept looking at Lee Chun-ho and Gao Fei, and it was hard for them not to be affected. Okay, it's settled. Lin Fan made the decision. We'll get together again when we have the chance. Life is long. What about the boss? Don't you want to discuss it with him? Lee Chun-ho asked. What to discuss? He's busy. Don't bother him with such a small matter. Lin Fan waved his hand. Anyway, he's not involved. It doesn't make any difference to him whether we're here or somewhere else. On the contrary, you two will have a better experience. Lee Gao and the others thought the same and stopped struggling. They happily planned their trip home while eating. Isn't it like winning the lottery, to have a few extra days to spend with your family? Lee Chun-hua couldn't wait to send a message to her family on the spot, happily reporting the good news to them. In the afternoon, the four of them ran to the famous shopping mall on Central Street and bought a lot of local products. Even Ji-yu bought a lot to bring back for the people on 623 to taste. After dinner, the four of them packed their luggage, carried a bunch of stuff, and brought the gifts they bought in the afternoon, and went to the hospital to say goodbye to Grandpa Song. The Song family was very surprised, and the old man even felt guilty, thinking that it was all his fault, that the young people didn't have a good time. Song's father and mother both stood up to keep him, and Grandma Song even grabbed Song Ren and blamed him for abandoning the guests. "Grandma, it's not a big deal." Lee Chun-wang immediately squeezed over and held Grandma Song's hand. "We wanted to go home and spend time with our family, and this is a good opportunity." Several people took turns to speak up, saying that they saw Grandpa and thought of their own family, and it had nothing to do with Song Ren. Even Lin Fan and Ji-yu kept comforting them. The Song family finally calmed down, but they still felt indebted. "Look at you guys." Grandma Song held Lin Fan's hand lovingly. "You came all the way here, and you haven't even had a good meal, and you're leaving again. You brought us so many things." "Grandma, you're not kidding. Aren't we all like a family?" Lin Fan smiled and took Grandma Song's hand to sit on the sofa. "Yesterday we were so rude. We came in a hurry, forgot to bring gifts and came empty-handed, but you tolerated our ignorance. Today we have time. You can't let us be rude again, right?" What they bought was not the common healthcare gift boxes on the market, but some nourishing medicinal herbs that are beneficial to the health of middle-aged and elderly people, many of which are not cheap. Of course, the bulk of the money was paid by the rich woman Lin Fan, and she said it was nothing. "You kids." Song's mother and father took out the gifts and were about to hand them back to them. "Why spend so much money? These are too expensive. Take them back and bring them to your family. Uncle, aunt." Lee Chun-hua pushed with both hands. "Lin Fan is right. We are a family. Giving it to you is giving it to your family." "Yes." Gao Fei took a bag from his luggage and showed it to them. "We also bought it for our family. We have everything. You don't have to be polite." Ji-yu also said, "Your good health is what children hope for the most, and it is also the greatest support for us. Uncle and aunt just accepted for Captain Song." After several excuses and persuasions, the things were not returned, and the Song family felt even more guilty. "It's getting late, and we have to rush to the airport, so we'll leave first." Lin Fan received Ji Yusen and said goodbye. "When Grandpa is fully recovered, we will come to visit again, when we have time." "Oh, okay. Grandpa Song wanted to come down and see him off in person. I'm sorry for not welcoming you well. Please forgive me. I won't be so rude next time." Grandma Song held Lin Fan's hand and was reluctant to let him go. "This year or next year, your aunt and I will retire. Next time you come, I will definitely have time to play with you." Song's father said, "Okay, you all take care of your health. The mountains are high and the roads are long. We will have many opportunities to meet." Lin Fan smiled. Lee Chun-wang and others also joined in the fun, making witty remarks, which somewhat interrupted some of the parting sadness. Song Ren remained silent and didn't say much. When everyone left, he followed and wanted to see him off. Lin Fan and others kept asking them not to see him off. There were exactly 4 of them, and it was convenient to take a taxi to the airport. There was no point in going back and forth. It would be better to spend more time with the family for these few hours. Song Ren couldn't say goodbye to them, so he sent them to the hospital gate and got in a taxi. "Don't see them off. Go back quickly." Lin Fan waved him away while sitting in the co-pilot. "Yes, boss." Lee Chun-hua also stuck her head out of the window. "See you at the base in a few days. If you really miss me." He pointed his eyes in the direction of Lin Fan. "You can also call or video chat." Song Ren looked at Ji-yu, who was silent in the back row. Gao Fei, who smiled and waved, slid across Lee Chun-hua's face and looked at Lin Fan solemnly again and let out a long breath. "Send me a message to report your safety when you arrive." Everyone agreed and promised to complete the task. Song Ren stood at the gate of the hospital, watching the taxi quickly merge into the traffic, carrying his companions, and disappearing in a sea of taillights, sorting out his mood and walking back. There is a long way to go. Lin Fan came back quietly. If she hadn't cancelled her leave in the personnel department and Wu Yusen received the message, he wouldn't have known that she had returned to the special affairs office. After finding an opportunity to ask about the situation, and knowing that nothing was wrong, Lin Fan was eager to study again, so he immediately pulled Mi Jiao into a one-on-one small class. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 809. You go. Lin Fan always slogged through the boring, painful, and unhappy study life, with the idea of learning as early as possible to be relieved. She practiced with all her might as she did when she was learning swordsmanship in Zioyao Mountain. Mi Jiao's original worries did not appear at all. Later, she even took the initiative to persuade her to take more rest. At the end of August, Lin Fan finally made some progress, and the electricity he released also had a substantial change that could be seen by the naked eye. In a nutshell, it was from a crackling current to a lightning power with controllable size, cool sound and light, and power at will. So she has graduated. Zhu Kunjin looked at Lin Fan, who had a blue-purple lightning ball floating in his palm, and asked Mi Jiao carefully, while holding the teacup in his hand. There were many out-of-print teacups on his tea table, which could not withstand that little arc. That depends on what your concept of graduation is, Mi Jiao said lightly, while holding her thermos cup. She has learned all the lightning skills, but her proficiency is just this. TSK. She shook her head, her mouth full of disgust. But upon closer inspection, she had a smile in her eyes, and she was obviously appreciative of Lin Fan's progress. You've learned all of them? Zhu Kunjin was a little surprised. At his age, he didn't dare to say that he had mastered all the skills in his department. How long has Lin Fan been doing this? What's that look in your eyes? Mi Jiao looked at him and was disgusted again. Our skills can only progress as our spiritual power grows. She doesn't have this limitation. Is it difficult for her to learn all of them? The level and ability of a superpower cultivator have a lot to do with the spiritual power reserve. Simply put, the less spiritual power you absorb and use, the lower the level of the skills you can use, the lower the power is naturally, and the lower the level of the cultivator itself. With the improvement of skill proficiency in the later stage, more and more spiritual power is absorbed and can be used proficiently. The skills that can be used will also increase with the increasing spiritual power. The power will also increase, and the level will increase accordingly. In short, this is a positive growth relationship. But in the final analysis, all levels will be limited by the cultivator's own spiritual power reserve. Obviously, Lin Fan is not among these restrictions. She has an incalculable amount of thunder pools as a guarantee, and the highest level of thunder skills are not restricted. What is lacking is her comprehension and proficiency. Lin Fan was not stupid to begin with, otherwise he would not have been able to catch up and get into a good university a few months before the college entrance examination. Now, with the cell gain of the Octopus Man gene, her IQ may not have increased much, but her comprehension is definitely full. For the basic part, she can get started almost after Mi Jiao teaches her a few times. Regardless of whether she is proficient or not, at least she can perform it. When her proficiency in the previous part is improved, she will naturally understand the general idea of the advanced skills without Mi Jiao's teaching. Although she stutters when performing, she can still perform smoothly. In this case, as long as you are willing to work hard and practice, improvement is a natural thing. Zhu Kunjin looked at the lightning in Lin Fan's hand, which changed from a sphere to a shuttle, and soon turned into a bird flapping its wings and flew away. It circled around his office, and turned into a butterfly, and landed on his favorite teacup, and swallowed his saliva. Such a natural ability. Old Zhu also felt a little jealous in his heart. Thinking about the sword training in Les Heng King, it only took a month. The front wave is indeed stronger than the back wave, and he was beaten to death on the beach. So you came here today? ZHU Kunjin whispered subconsciously, and finally breathed a sigh of relief after watching the little butterfly fall back into Lin Fan's palm and disappear without a trace. Fortunately, let you see and report to you, by the way, I have taught you everything I should teach, and I want to continue my normal retirement life. Mijao drank a sip of water from the thermos cup. ZHU Kunjin just came back to his senses from being cautious, and his reaction was inevitably a little slow. Isn't her proficiency poor? Mijao was a little unhappy and knocked the thermos cup on the coffee table. She can practice her proficiency by herself. Is it possible that I need to accompany you for such a thing? Do you really think I'm taking care of your children? I'm fine, right? I have been delayed for so long by you, day by day. ZHU Kunjin wanted to say that your buying vegetables and cooking are indeed not a big deal. But looking at Mijao's face, he didn't dare to say it, so he just said, okay, I'll let her practice on her own, and you can resume your retirement and freedom, elder sister. HMPH. Mijao rolled her eyes, turned around and put on a fake smile to Lin Fan again. You have to be careful when you practice on your own. If you don't die, don't kill others, or I'll have to come out and clean up your mess. No. Lin Fan shook his head quickly. I practice in the barrier, and I will never perform in front of others until I'm sure. I should know that I won't kill others. At least I won't kill them. ZHU Kunjin was sweating coldly when he heard this. Good guy. This must be a strict order to restrict Lin Fan to practice only in the barrier in the classroom. Let Kuan Yingdan go and check the barrier later to see if it needs to be replaced with a new one or add an extra layer of insurance. Lin Fan's magical power has been perfected. No, the news that she has successfully graduated has spread. Although her proficiency is not enough, her progress in mastering low-level skills is still far behind that of a true beginner like John Wu. When Wu Yusen brought a group of acquaintances to celebrate with Lin Fan, he could only suppress the sigh in his heart and secretly made up his mind to work harder in the future. After getting rid of Mijao's supervision, Lin Fan began to let himself go. He still practiced, but not as hard as before. He practiced on time every day and only worked hard for a while when he occasionally thought that he was not strong enough to fight against the enemy, and soon he began to be calm again. In this way, the school season came quickly and slowly. When he had basically mastered the basic superpowers and began to specialize in the intermediate level, Lin Fan decided to give himself a vacation. Going out to eat, drink, play and go shopping every day, it was simply as happy as a god, right? But this happiness did not last for 2 days. You want me to go? She stood in front of ZHU Kunjin's desk with a confused look on her face. Yes, the ugly woman agreed to lend the shuttle, but the condition is that you must follow the ship. ZHU Kunjin's face was not good. Jin Sichin spent so much effort and finally persuaded the ugly woman to allow the Langsing people to use the shuttle to explore space. This would have been a good thing if there were no additional conditions that forced Lin Fan to go. Lin Fan's mind was a little confused. She was there at the time and knew that someone was going to be sent into space, but she didn't expect that it would fall on her head. She doesn't know anything. No, she has Xingqian. But having Xingqian doesn't matter, right? Countless thoughts popped up in her mind and were suppressed. She didn't know what to say and stood there in a daze. Come on, sit down first. Seeing her long-lost dazed look, ZHU Kunjin got up distressed and led her to sit in front of the sofa. There is no room for maneuver in this matter. He sighed and said, the official documents have been approved. The old man agreed, and the Lan Meng agreed. Of course there were voices of opposition. Xingqian is such a powerful force, and without her, the security of Langsing will drop by 1/3. But the conditions of the ugly woman are like this. If you want to dig out her heart and flesh, she will also dig out your heart and flesh. It's fair. And her reasons, no one can refuse. Chapter 810. She's the one. The ugly woman said that there was everything on Langsing, and they wanted to keep the stars just to prevent external attacks, so that they would have stronger resistance. But in the vast universe, the chance of encountering a strong enemy is much higher than hiding deep in the solar system and staying still. Once they encounter one, Who will protect the safety of the shuttle? The shuttle does have advanced defense capabilities. But when encountering a powerful enemy with advanced technology, a shuttle operated by a group of ordinary people, even if it exerts its maximum defense, is just a passive target in space. They lack active attack power, and the best candidate among them is naturally the bionic armor after the fusion of advanced civilization. The upper echelons of the Land League easily agreed with her words. The mobility and combat effectiveness of the bionic armor are indeed very strong. Moreover, each country just got an extra bionic armor. Although it has increased the strength of Lansing, assigning one person to the shuttle is equivalent to maintaining the state of the original two bionic armors from the perspective of Lansing's structure, which is good for the balance of power. OVP country took the lead in agreeing and wanted to push Fu Guang out. Apollo of their own family naturally cannot go, as he is the capital to compete with each country. Xingqian cannot go either, as she is more deeply involved with Apollo, not to mention that it also involves their biological methyl gene reproduction plan. Almost everyone prefers that the newly born Fu Guang and the shuttle go to explore the mysteries of the universe. As a new Mecha, and a male Mecha, he has many more disadvantages than Xingqian if he stays on Lansing. Each country is reluctant to let either of them go, but from a practical point of view, if Apollo cannot be pushed out, Fu Guang is naturally the better choice. But the ugly woman does not want to go. She wants Xingqian to go, and Xingqian must go. She also gave a reason that is hard to refuse. Xingqian has a large amount of the original power of the world tree, which is equivalent to the secret key of the shuttle. Under special circumstances, he can directly control the control of the shuttle through energy and achieve the synchronization of man and shuttle. This matter shocked everyone. They naturally know how powerful the world tree is. I also know that the bionic armor has the energy of the world tree, but I can't see any clues on weekdays, so I just treat it as a key to enter and exit the barrier normally. It doesn't seem to make much difference whether it has it or not. Later, Antonio measured that his affinity for superpowers was very high, so everyone once thought of the original energy of the world tree. But after so long, Antonio didn't learn anything in the one-on-one teaching at the Superpower Academy, which made everyone question the actual role of the original energy. Unexpectedly, if you don't make a sound, you will be amazing. Xingqian actually has half of the original power and can synchronize with the shuttle. Ovi, who is quick-witted, immediately wants to get benefits for Antonio. Regardless of whether he is allowed to go up or not, the energy will rush up first. He kept chattering and finally got the opportunity to face the ugly woman, but in the end he got a big fight. A big fight in the true sense. I don't know how the ugly woman did it. She slapped Ovi across the video, and he spit a mouthful of old blood on the table and sprayed far away, and several teeth fell out. He looked at the empty air, hugged his head, and fell silent on the spot, never daring to complain to the goddess again. Damn, why don't they have gods in their P country? The ugly woman was already worried about the shuttle, and she was angry, but had no place to vent. How could she be patient to listen to these ants pointing fingers? If Jin Sichin hadn't stopped her, Aoi would have killed her on the spot. After she fiercely designated the only Lin Fan, she cut off the signal. The people at the Landmen conference table looked at the blood on Aoi's table, and they were all silent. Sure enough, in the face of absolute strength, conspiracy and conspiracy are nothing. Since the facts cannot be changed, they can only accept it. The people who arranged the shuttle have been ready and are training. Even if the ugly woman does not agree to lend the shuttle and the space program is stranded, it will not be a loss for them. Now it's just adding a star. That being said, there are still many changes in the deployment. Not only did the various forces quickly adjust the original personnel, but the H side also quickly adjusted the personnel to try their best to make Lin Fan less isolated on the shuttle. Of course, her special training also had to be arranged. The training time was nearly 2 months later than others, and coupled with her special nature, she was destined to be very busy for the next period of time. After a series of orders were passed down, the forces of the Land League brought up the biological methyl gene reproduction plan they had discussed before. While the stars were still on Lansing, Plan A could not wait, so Plan B was quickly implemented. So the next day, when Lin Fan was called to the Land League meeting, she was still in a circle. She tossed and turned all night and couldn't fall asleep. thinking about what to do in the future, but she didn't know what to do. From her heart, she naturally didn't want to leave Lansing. It's hard to leave your hometown. If she had a family like John Woo or Song Ren, maybe she would return to Yangcheng after graduating from college, find an ordinary job, and then live a stable life. Now, let alone her hometown, she can't even stay in her hometown. Lin Fan is a person who likes comfort and has zero adventurous spirit. Before she became a star, she had hardly ever ridden the extreme rides in the amusement park. The most extreme ride was to drive a bumper car and collide with people, and she always failed to drive it properly. Now she was asked to explore space. Oh no, to be a security guard on a ship exploring space. No matter how she thought about it, she felt empty. After all, people's imagination is limited. No matter how many measures are taken, they will still be caught off guard when they really encounter it. Just like the Zerg invasion, it was something beyond the imagination of the Lansing people, and the ending was tragic. Not to mention those black holes, storms and so on. Even if Lin Fan only knew a little, she knew that those were not easy to deal with. She admired those pioneers who contributed to the progress of mankind and made selfless contributions, but to be honest, she didn't want to be a pioneer herself. She was just a thug who didn't know anything. In the past, she felt very stressed when she saw branches breaking and bricks cracking. Now the lives of a shuttle were in her hands. This feeling was really not good. What is there in space? How far is it? No one can answer it. Can she really perform her duties as a guard? Can she come back? But if she doesn't go, who will take her place? Song Ren can't do it anyway. He has a warm family, and his family is waiting for him. Antonio? Lin Fan knew with her limited political brain that he couldn't be allowed on the shuttle. She stepped into the Line League's meeting room for the second time in a daze, not feeling the symbol of its supreme power at all, and was only thinking about her own affairs. Lin Fan. Lin Fan. The person next to her pushed her and woke her up. When she looked up, everyone was sitting around the round table looking at her. Antonio and Song Ren were also there, but they were a few people away from her. Song Ren was dressed very formally in uniform, with his hat on, and he lowered his eyes, sitting at the table and taking notes seriously. Antonio was also dressed more formally, his eyes were full of interest, and when he saw her looking over, he grinned. Lin Fan looked at the t-shirt with the flower fairy pattern on her chest. The director didn't say she had to dress formally. Never mind, there are no taboos in their special affairs anyway. No one says anything. Why should she think so much? Lin Fan, the H-party member next to her, saw that she was distracted again and whispered again. They asked what you think. What do you think? Lin Fan asked. What do you think about the IVF plan? Last night I received a comment from an author named Baozi, who pointed out my shortcomings, made suggestions, and was worried that he might hurt me. I haven't received such a professional and heartwarming evaluation for a long time. Ha ha ha. Happy. Soon. I will change my writing style when I go to StarCraft. I'm sorry that you all accompanied me to take off my clothes slowly for so long. I love you. Chapter 811 Reproduction Plan. The reproduction plan was in place when the Line League was first established. After the battle with Gro, Xingqian and Apollo showed their prowess, and their basic information was naturally no secret in the Line League. For their independent combat power that cannot be replicated, but has sound physical functions, naturally some people have turned their attention to reproduction. Although we don't know how the biological armor is formed, according to the basic law of genetic reproduction, the children they give birth to will naturally carry the same or similar genes, and may even be stronger. At least, they will be much stronger than ordinary people who have nothing, right? Even if it doesn't work, there is no loss, it's just a waste of time. It's just giving birth to a child. The natural law of reproduction is not a big deal. Among them, Country P is the most active. Ovi spoke eloquently, and because he sat close, his spit sprayed on the face of the H representative several times. He encouraged all forces, big and small, to recruit allies, just to pair Xingqian with Apollo. Only when the strong join together can the genes of the next generation reach their peak. That's what he preached, and it actually makes sense. It's just that at that time, when the Line League was just being built, many things were in a mess. Post-war intervention, people's livelihood restoration, power struggles, each and every one of them was more important than the Mecha's child. Although this child is likely to be extraordinary, but the unknown possibility is not as important as the power obtained. So this issue was put aside and discussed later. Although the plan was put aside, Antonio was still sent to Lin Fan by the anxious OV. He kept transmitting the method of seducing women in Antonio's ear, hoping that Antonio could seduce Lin Fan. When the child is born, won't the mother of the child have to follow the child to their P country? Killing two birds with one stone. 1. OV exhausted all the suitable idioms in his mind, and had already thought of a suitable place on the territory of P country, to build an amusement park for the Mecha baby. Antonio wanted to find Lin Fan at that time, so he naturally obeyed. As for seducing women, he looked at OV, who was sharing his experience with a little disdain. Although this guy is considered an elite in his prime, to be honest, his experience is too old. Antonio stood on the street, and based on his figure and appearance, there were at least 50 women who came up to chat with him. Flirting? Antonio said he didn't need it. Besides, what kind of relationship did he have with Lin Fan? Those worldly bumpkins couldn't understand it at all. However, Antonio was happy to get the official pass. He didn't know the deeper reproduction plan, but only knew that OV wanted to dig Lin Fan to work in country P. Knowing something about Lin Fan, he naturally sneered at this, but wisely didn't refute it. You say yours, I do mine, and you can't do anything to me. H side, on the surface, kept silent, repeatedly emphasizing that they respected Lin Fan's wishes. But privately, a large number of people supported it, but they were repelled by Antonio as a candidate. But, how can a woman not give birth to a child? Anyway, Lin Fan will give birth sooner or later, so it's better to maximize the benefits. In this regard, there have been many debates within each country regarding Lin Fan's mental state. Lin Fan as a person, and her future. Countless people have thoroughly analyzed her in places that Lin Fan didn't know about. In the final vote, the majority of people agreed that it is possible to try to let Lin Fan, whose mental state has basically recovered, have contact with the opposite sex. Therefore, H did not stop Antonio's visit, but instead remained on the sidelines and tried to cater to his needs. In other words, they wanted Antonio to take the lead and see how Lin Fan would react to the opposite sex, especially to handsome guys who had a life and death friendship, had a certain emotional foundation, and were even prone to sadomasochism. Unfortunately, neither of them had any intention in this regard at the time, leaving those who had expectations empty-handed. Later, the visit of the octopus man made another round of nervous preparations. Afterwards, the source of the biological methyl gene was unexpectedly confirmed. It goes without saying how excellent the genes of the advanced civilization of the octopus man are, and they also know that the companion stone is the only indispensable condition for Mecha transformation. The Langsing people had another idea. They wanted to test the genes of the octopus man. They couldn't. They wanted the companion stone. They didn't have it. Technological development is the biggest gap across Langsing. That's why Aoi treasured the two companion stones that he had found so much. He thought that he could turn things around with these two treasures and regain the dominant position of Langsing with favorable conditions. Who knew that in the blink of an eye, H side had another biological armor, Fuguan. That would be fine. He still had two in his hand. If he operated well, he would have a great chance to turn the tables with 3 against 2. As a result, the damn octopus man actually became a peace ambassador and took away the companion stones. Heaven, earth. Aoi really wanted to look up to the sky and shout loudly. Who did their P country offend? Exclamation mark. Why can't they give them a chance to restore their glory? If it were someone else, the people on Langsing, even the powerful H side, Aoi would dare to put a gun to their heads. Even if it was a fight to the death, he had to grab the 2 companion stones. But in front of the octopus man, Ovi was limp and could only watch them take the stone of hope away. Later, the reproduction plan was naturally brought up on the Lanmeng meeting table, renamed the second generation reproduction plan of biological A, and the core of the plan was still the same, having children. Aren't you H side hypocrites, refusing to agree under the banner of humanity? This time, Langsing Biological A has become 2 men and 1 woman, and the new personnel are from your H side, and they have a close relationship with Lin Fan. UH side will not stop it again, right? Sure enough, H side did not refuse righteously as before, but began to seriously consider the possibility of Lin Fan and Song Ren. At this time, OV had a new and strange request. If Lin Fan and Song Ren have children, they must also have them with Antonio. What you have, I must have too, and we want to share the rain and dew equally. This proposal was bold and crazy, which made most of the councillors silent, and H side was especially unacceptable. What do they think of Lin Fan? A machine for giving birth to children? What's more, Lin Fan and Song Ren may not be a couple. When he didn't care. He was a scoundrel when he should be talking about reason, and started to preach again when things were not clear. He talked about the history of Langsing and the future development just to prevent H party from having the second generation of Mecha babies. What if Lin Fan falls in love with an ordinary person? A member of another party asked when the density of saliva was seriously exceeded. Lin Fan, a female Mecha, is the foundation of reproduction. If she can't reproduce a Mecha baby with the best genes with 2 male mechas, she can take 50% of the mother's genes as a second choice. When his eyes were red with anger, and he naturally made a lot of contingency plans. He replied without thinking. Anyway, for the balance of power and the integration of Langsing's future, she gave H party a child, and she should give me P party a child. She can choose any man in our P country. As long as there is a child, we don't restrict her to get married, and we don't mind her having other partners. As soon as these words came out, the effect exploded. Isn't this letting Lin Fan openly? Many people also secretly started to think about it after hearing Aowen's unscrupulous speech. If Party P also wants to have a Mecha baby, then can they also have one? Although the childbearing age of humans is short, Lin Fan is obviously much older. After all, it's about having a baby, so who cares? There are many handsome guys in their country, so why can't they give it a try? Party H looked at the increasingly magical conference room and simply didn't want to talk nonsense with these people anymore. The news that Lin Fan was no longer restricted from having feelings also reached Song Ren's ears at this time. This plot is actually a bit sensitive. I originally wanted to delete it, but I felt that deleting it would make the protagonist feel a little bit off emotionally. She has only been in contact with good people so far, but how can one avoid evil in life? Langsing is not the utopia I created, so I still want to write about it, so that the protagonist will not be protected and become a saint in the end. Chapter 812, Angry. Almost everyone overlooked that as a Mecha with independent thinking and super strong force, how Lin Fan thought and acted. Who could suppress her? Such an absurd proposal was simply without bottom line and limit. But while cursing secretly, many people on the H side also thought seriously about this matter. In H country, it seems feasible to choose more breeding partners for Lin Fan. No, the partners for having children. Mechas are so special, and in the case of scarce resources, can the moral bottom line also be floating? A legal life with women on both sides. Would anyone really refuse it? The forces of the Land League quarreled in a smoky atmosphere. The H side held the confidence in its own people, did not take the initiative, did not refuse, did not take responsibility, and still fought against the enemy, and sat firmly in the rear. In the end, a unified agreement was finally reached to let Lin Fan choose for himself. All parties can let the right person get along with Lin Fan at the right time, allowed by the H side. In the end, she could choose whoever she liked, whoever she chose, and whoever she wanted to have a baby with. No one else was allowed to have any opinions or obstructions, and they had to provide unconditional support. The 2 male biological A also had the same rights. A group of people sat around the top conference table of Landmeng, which could decide the life and death of Langsing, and they were all very happy. They didn't feel like they were pimping. So after a heated search and screening by all parties, the candidates were finally announced. Unfortunately, before they could arrange the people on schedule, they heard that Lin Fan had to board the shuttle and go into space. This time, everything was lost. Even if they slept that night, the remaining 4 or 5 months would not be enough to have a baby. The Landmeng people were so anxious that they came up with another trick, the test tube baby plan. It didn't matter if Lin Fan was not there, as long as she had her wife, and the test tube technology was so advanced now, she could have at least 4 babies, or even 5 babies. As for the father of the child, it would inevitably cause another round of competition. Party H disagreed. Once they agree to IVF, their advantages will inevitably be divided. Even if we don't talk about power, Lin Fan's baby is definitely a precious and difficult existence. The original gratitude for giving birth and raising is difficult to be involved clearly. Without a biological mother, the baby's affiliation is easy to change, and if it is not raised well, it will be unknown to whose family it belongs. At that time, even if the biological father is a Mecha like Fu Guang and Apollo, the benefits will be difficult to eliminate. Snatching the child will inevitably bring another wave of disasters to Langsing, and it may become a third time. Party H does not reject IVF itself, but the results it brings. It was another chaotic quarrel like a vegetable market. Party H, as the party that convinced people with reason, could not suppress the unity of other forces. In the end, on the grounds that they had no say, they took advantage of Lin Fan just knowing the news and not entering special training, and pulled her over. Of course, Song Ren and Antonio, as the other 2 participants in the reproduction plan, naturally attended the meeting. There were also other selected elites, men and women, sitting in a circle behind the representatives of various forces. Lin Fan only thought those handsome men and beautiful women were secretaries and other staff members, so she glanced at them and didn't care at all. Now, after hearing the person next to her repeat the whole story, she exploded, and then she was furious. Her already anxious emotions were like a raging fire, burning directly. She could defend the country and dare to die in the interstellar space. No, she could also tolerate exploration, but now a group of old men gathered together to discuss her having a child. She should give birth by herself, instead of letting IVF synthesis and letting someone else give birth. Isn't it enough for Lin Fan to work like a cow and a horse for land crossing and sacrifice herself for land crossing in this life? And they are also targeting her child who doesn't even have a shadow? What's more, she will be gone by then, and she will have no idea what the child will be like. She had fantasized about family a long time ago, and the part about children was even more firm. If she had a child, it must be because of love, and she would give the child the best of everything in the world. She was not afraid of hardship or fatigue. She just hoped that her child would not have to suffer, live in a happy environment, and grow up healthy and happy. Now they are all test tube babies. Regardless of whether they love it or not, from beginning to end, the growth of the child has nothing to do with her. Although the child will grow up under the attention of many people, but without the company of the mother, and with the original intention of using it, what will the future of the child be like? Forgive her selfishness, she can devote her life, but there is no way to let her child make decisions unconsciously and without choice, and devote its life in this way. Why was the child born? To be a qualified tool? Growing up in the laboratory, participating in various research and training since childhood, just to make the lives of these idle politicians who do nothing but chatter more secure. Heh, TSK. Lin Fan didn't know who his disgust reached the extreme at this moment, and his face immediately turned cold. You think so too? She turned her head gloomily and asked H Fangs and Fang Yuan beside her. No. Seeing that her face was not right, Sen Fang Yuan denied it decisively. Of course we didn't mean that, but we couldn't stop them, no matter what we said. They said that we were monopolizing power and interfering with your autonomy. They had to ask you in person. There was no other way, so we called you here. It didn't matter whether Party H had this intention or not, but they could not admit it in front of Lin Fan. Lin Fan felt much better. Although she knew that the facts might not be that simple, the superficial cover-up at least showed that Party H cared about her feelings. On the surface, she didn't seem to be backstabbed. The adult world is like this. Many times, as long as you don't say it clearly, you can pretend that you don't know, and it doesn't exist. Ms. Lin, what do you think? The representative of an unknown force in the diagonal corner asked. Lin Fan glanced at Ao Wei, who was looking at her with a smile, and felt a little strange. This person who had been vigorously promoting the plan in the description did not follow up and speak. But no matter what, it was difficult to save her bad mood. Lin Fan crossed his arms, leaned back on the chair, crossed his legs, and replied with an unprecedented bad attitude. I don't want to see it. Everyone was surprised. In their impression, Lin Fan has always been a very submissive and obedient person. Most of the time, if you ignore Xingqian, except for her young appearance, that is particularly conspicuous in the occasion, Lin Fan's behavior is not outstanding, and can even be considered silent. The Lin Fan they know mostly appears in the form of Xingqian, not silent, but not talkative. She will do whatever orders H gives. It seems that she never hesitates even in the face of dangers. She is much more obedient than Antonio, who is disobedient and self-centered most of the time. Therefore, although Xingqian's fighting power is frightening, most people do not have too much fear of Lin Fan herself. Instead, they feel that she is the kind of ordinary woman who is easy to control and manipulate at will, but she just happened to be lucky enough to have the biological armor fall on her. Ms. Lin, you are wrong. The person being scolded was stunned for a few seconds before reacting, and her face gradually turned red. We are all doing this for your own good, for Langsing's good. Lin Fan sneered. I don't know if it's good for Langsing, but for my good. Which part of your brain is short-circuited? Can you say a good word about this kind of bullshit plan? From retorting to attacking, Lin Fan's attitude became worse and worse. Antonio's eyes lit up, and he wanted to applaud. Song Ren, who was lowering his head and pretending to take notes, also raised his head and saw Lin Fan sitting like a bandit with an angry face, looking for someone to be unlucky, and smiled. I received a notice yesterday that there will be another recommendation in the afternoon of the 24th. I even suspected that I read it wrong. Haha, so if you write 2 million, will there really be encouragement for recommendation? I haven't been doing well recently. The little puppy I picked up last year was sent to Shanghai for adoption. I raised it for more than half a year and was recently returned. Because the child's performance was affected by playing with the dog, the middleman asked me for sterilization and foster care fees. I don't quite understand where the sterilization fee comes from. If the dog is at the owner's home, the owner should pay it. If the dog was recently retired and sterilized, should you tell me if you want to pay for it? The day before yesterday at 9 o'clock in the evening, they called and said that the dog was retired to the township below us. I don't know how to place the dog. These days, I've been looking for people everywhere to ask if there are people who want to keep dogs. If not, I will find a place to keep the dog and keep it forever. It costs 200 or more per month. This is just 1 year of foster care, and medical care is not included. The dog is only 8 or 9 months old now, and I'm just living a good life now. Let's not talk about the money first. There is an extra responsibility and a worry. A worry for more than 10 years is scary to think about. I really regret it. If I hadn't taken care of the dog last year, it would have been better. There wouldn't be these things now, and I wouldn't have spent so much money. Am I a bad person? I don't understand why I started to regret it when I was obviously doing a good thing. I know I was wrong. I really won't dare to do it again in the future. Chapter 813 The Toolman's Revolt. The congressman considered himself a civilized person. In his daily life, he would always reason and present facts when he had disagreements with others. He had never encountered such a rude response. He kept saying you for a long time and couldn't think of what to say next. What do you mean by you? Are you too idle or too full? Lin Fan continued to scold him without any courtesy. Don't you have anything else to study? Have you done your work well? Why don't you get promoted? Are your parents in good health? Do you have any pain here or there? Have you taken on the responsibility of a son and taken them to the hospital? Do you have a good relationship with your wife? Have you met her needs? Have you resolved her complaints? Are your children doing well? Are they good at studying? Are they in a good relationship? Are you married? Do you have a second child? The other party blushed. You can't even sort out so many things yourself, and you still want to get involved in my affairs. Lin Fan rolled his eyes, raised his chin, and looked at the man with disdain. You have no status, no ability. What right do you have to come to me and point fingers? Just because I saved you, do you want to let you, an ungrateful wolf, live so much longer? There were small national flags on the tables in front of the representatives of various forces. Lin Fan recognized them at a glance. They were the small Eastern European countries that he had saved from destruction. Although the Lion Alliance now said that there was no concept of a country, many things were not so easy to change. The fight for territory was still going on tacitly, and it was not surprising to use national flags to represent forces. Lin Fan's words were not excessive, but the upper class probably boasted of being elegant for a long time, and rarely saw such direct speech. They were choked by Lin Fan's retort and gasped. It felt that, if she said a few more words, she would be out of breath. Lin Fan didn't want to see him die, so he turned away and suggested coldly, "If you are not feeling well, go home and take care of your children. Don't take up the toilet without doing anything. The Lan Meng seat is also very precious, and cannot be wasted." I don't know if it was because of Lin Fan's quick words or other reasons. In the huge conference room, only her crisp voice and the heavy breathing of the person who was out of breath were heard. Some people couldn't stand it and wanted to say a few words to ease the situation. After all, the councillor didn't say anything excessive. As soon as they opened their mouths, they were blocked. If you have any, think about it before you say it. Did I let you eat too much? I now doubt that. If I didn't save you at the beginning, would there be no one to bother me now? As soon as these words came out, the whole audience was silent. Lin Fan was completely unscrupulous at this time. Like a machine gun, he would shoot, no matter who came up, making her uncomfortable and no one comfortable. Originally, going to space was enough to upset her. Speaking of space exploration and pioneering, who doesn't know the risks? In the distant stars, how many people can guarantee their safety? And how many people can cross time and come back? Can they come back? Even with the escort of the stars, Lin Fan dared not make this promise. This trip can be said to be a life or death, one-way expedition. It is not an exaggeration to say that she is an interstellar suicide squad. Lin Fan does not have such great ambitions. She just wants to live a comfortable life on Langsing. Work when there is work, lie down when there is no work, fight for life when there is need, fight small monsters and the like. She thought that her life would be like this, but she was still sent to an unknown place, and for an unknown period of time, and there was no way to refuse. There was a kind of nameless anger in her heart that had nowhere to vent, and these people bumped into her with bad intentions. She originally thought that coming to Lan Meng was to mobilize her before departure, say a lot of high-sounding words, and appease and persuade her reluctance from all aspects of big and small matters, and touch her passivity little by little, so that she would no longer resist emotionally, accept her fate, or accept the assignment helplessly. Who knew it was not? This group of people talked a lot. No one cared about her safety. No one asked her what she thought, as if she was just a screw without emotions, and she could be screwed wherever she was needed. Her mood, thoughts, and wishes seemed unimportant. Of course, this was what the ugly woman meant. If she wanted to carry out the interstellar plan, she had to go, but it shouldn't be like this. And now, they are pretending to ask her what she thinks about using her own sperm to create a test tube baby! Exclamation mark. What the hell do you think? Think about her star is already so powerful, it is one of the best on Langsing, right? Now she has to be calculated by this group of people with big brains and big mouths. Think about the face she had when she asked for help at the beginning. Now that she is out of trouble, she has changed into another look, and she has completely forgotten how she saved her life. What about freedom and democracy? Exclamation mark. Screw her grandma's legs. Even if they treat her like this, they still say that they will treat her children well. Exclamation mark. Keep those nonsense to fool ghosts. Lin Fan glared fiercely, and even Sen Fangyuan could not escape. He gave a flattering smile with a guilty conscience, lowered his head and kept silent. Things were unexpected. Unexpectedly, the person who was easiest to deal with in the original plan suddenly became a thorn, leaving everyone at a loss as to how to speak. Things may not change, but Lin Fan can't do it. There are still 2 Mecha men present. Ovi signaled with his eyes that the representative of another small force should speak. The man glanced at Lin Fan timidly, and seeing that she lowered her eyes and no longer looked at the crowd, he relaxed a little, cleared his throat, and attacked Song Ren. What does Mr. Song think about your part? Song what? Before Song Ren could even open his mouth, Lin Fan got angry again. After you ask me, ask him. Do you think we H people are easy to bully? No, no, no. The man waved his hands repeatedly. Wrong question. Wrong question. I wanted to ask Mr. Madden. Wrong question. Antonio's last name is Madden, and he was watching Lin Fan's awesomeness with a smile, but he didn't expect to be called out. Over's face was not expecting, but it was useless to stop him, so he simply kept silent. Ask me what? Antonio asked innocently. Ask. The man hesitated. If Lin Fan doesn't cooperate, the double IVF plan can't be mentioned. The only thing left is, regarding the reproduction plan, what do you think of the gene selection plan we have selected? He saw that Lin Fan had lowered his eyes again, and Antonio was still smiling, and he was even more relieved, and continued, this time we have brought the candidates to the venue. Why don't you take a look? Maybe there are people you like. He waved his hand and sat back, and the beautiful girls who had been sitting and didn't dare to speak stood up hesitantly, looking at each other. These are all. The man saw that he was not stopped, and he spoke more and more smoothly. Do you see? If there are any that suit your taste, any of them will do. If there are no suitable ones, you can tell us your ideal type, and we will select them according to the conditions. We have reached a consensus that, because of the special nature of Mecha people, the more children the better, so you don't have to care about the secular perspective. You are all contributing to Langsing. Why do I feel like I have become a REM? Antonio said with a strange smile, looking around at the various beauties with a playful look. Hey, it's all for the future of Langsing. Besides, the man saw that Antonio was not angry and put on a smile that all men understand. Holding women on both sides is legal. Men's happiness is nothing more than this. You call this a contribution to Langsing? Before Antonio could speak, Lin Fan said solemnly, then what do we call it, when we fought hard and sacrificed our lives before, and so many people died? This part should actually be written in a deeper way, rather than superficial verbal attacks. But because this plot is already quite sensitive, I'm afraid that, if I write it in depth, it will easily turn off the blacklist, and I will have to delete and change it later. So after thinking about it, I decided to write it superficially, and show a conflict. The verbal attacks are also somewhat inconsistent with the scene. The reason is, that I dare not hit the core directly. I'm afraid of the review, so I deliberately write it very shallowly. My dears, please understand, this is the situation. Chapter 814 let you know who I am. They are all contributions, all, Miss Lin, and some are prepared for you. The man smiled awkwardly and waved his hand, and another row of handsome guys stood up. Lin Fan was not in the mood to appreciate them at this time, and her eyes did not move at all. She supported her elbows on the table, clenched her fists, and put them in front of her chin, looking at the faces of all kinds at the table with disappointment, as if she wanted to remember all the expressions of these people at the moment. At the end, she said lightly, shameless. Many people felt attacked and wanted to refute, but controlled their emotions, and looked around to see who would be the first to speak out. For the sake of utilitarianism, even the most basic moral bottom line can be abandoned. You people. Lin Fan paused. It makes me feel that saving you was a mistake. I did a good thing, but now I feel regretful. Lin Fan pulled a bitter smile from the corner of his mouth behind his fist. Why do I feel regretful when I did a good thing? Do you think UH side don't think so? Warriors from an unknown side stood up. Without their consent, how could this plan be advanced to this point? Didn't they choose someone? Lin Fan heard the sound of several people sitting down behind her without looking at the direction of his finger. She slowly turned around and asked Sen Fangyuan in a calm tone. You think so too? Of course not. Sen Fangyuan immediately shouted indignation, slammed the table, and pointed directly at the man just now. Which of yours saw us agree? The H party has never explicitly expressed its consent, but do some things need to be said clearly? They are all in the political circle, and everyone knows this little trick. The man fought back. You acquiesced? Go to acquiescence. In order to show his determination, Sen Fangyuan picked up the pen on the table and threw it over there. Intentionality is a disease. It must be cured. Regardless of whether it is actually there or not, it must not be admitted at this time. The space program still relies on Lin Fan. Once she goes berserk, neither the development of Langsing itself nor the space program will have good results. Didn't you see that Song Ren has been looking at Lin Fan without saying a word, showing a tendency to protect him? Antonio, although he was laughing, never interrupted Lin Fan and was obviously indulging him. Are these people really too full, or have they been in the Lan Alliance for too long, so arrogant that they can't see such an obvious situation clearly? Or is it old Pizzo V, who hid behind the scenes after discovering the situation and pushed others to execute it? Sen Fangyuan was anxious. When he first knew about this plan, he knew it was impossible, and Lin Fan would never agree to it. Not to mention Lin Fan, no normal person would agree to it. But he has the final say. The Lan Alliance is a power organization, with too many forces and interests constantly competing in it. Even if the H party seems to be a solid block, there are also different voices on this matter. There are advantages to having more people, but there are also disadvantages to having more people. Sen Fangyuan was afraid that Lin Fan would be aroused by this incident, which would have a counter effect on the subsequent interstellar plan and even the future of Langsing, which would be bad. If Xingqian goes berserk, it's hard to say whether Fu Guan can stop him. Apollo might even help to destroy Langsing. At this moment, he also began to reflect on whether he had been too polite to these forces before. Wouldn't it be better to just be like Leo P and be brutal and crush them to death with one blow? Talking about benevolence and persuasion, well, now he is suffering from it. Look at what these people are talking about. The abacus beads have bounced on Lin Fan's face. Who can still remember that she is not only a woman, but also a female demon? With one powerful move, they can instantly reincarnate all of them, and no one can investigate. Whose life is not precious? Still want to take advantage of other people's children? Isn't it better to save your own life and enjoy life? Sen Fangyuan refused to admit it, which aroused the anger of many forces. They were cautious about Lin Fan, but they were not afraid of Sen Fangyuan. So, a group of people focused their fire on Sen Fangyuan, causing him to stand up and argue with a group of people in anger. The highest meeting room of Langsing was once again like entering a vegetable market with 500 ducks. Lin Fan couldn't really describe the feeling. She only felt that her mood was getting more and more irritable in this chaotic and noisy place, and she had a desire to destroy everything. Enough. She pressed the table and shouted. Song Ren reacted quickly and left the table with both hands, and Antonio also moved back along the wheelchair. Others who pressed their hands on the table or other parts of their bodies touched the table were not so lucky. They were all hit by the sudden electric current and screamed and collapsed to the side. Sen Fangyuan was lucky to escape because he was standing. He took back his fingers that were still hanging above the table with lingering fear, rubbed them, and took 2 small steps back without leaving a trace. Wow. Antonio whistled. Cool. Lin Fan didn't have the slightest idea of laughing. She was surrounded by visible arcs and sparks, crackling, and looked scary. She was already proficient in lightning. Although she was not proficient in intermediate and advanced moves, she knew clearly how much current could leave these arrogant guys with an unforgettable memory. That's not right. Wood doesn't conduct electricity, right? Sen Fangyuan suddenly found something wrong. That's unscientific. AOA, as one of the few people who escaped the disaster, finally made the first sound since the meeting. No immunity to lightning? Song Ren put his hands back on the notebook. Compared with a group of neighbors who were wailing and twisting their heads, he was particularly calm. No. Lin Fan suppressed his temper and replied to Song Ren. It was attached to the table and went out. Without waiting for others to speak, she stood up. I hope this will make you recognize who I am. After saying that, she rushed to the window in a few steps and pressed one hand on the super thick bulletproof glass. In an instant, the glass that could not be easily penetrated by guns shattered into slag. She jumped out without looking back and disappeared. Wait for me. Antonio saw that Lin Fan had left, and he had no patience to stay any longer. He jumped over the table and jumped out through the broken window. Everyone looked at the remaining Song Ren. No matter from which angle you look at this former soldier king, he is much more terrifying than the gentle Lin Fan and the casual Antonio. I saw him curl his lips slightly, adjust his wide-brimmed hat which was not crooked, straighten his collar, pick up a pen, and hold the notebook upright to make notes, as if he didn't see the chaos in the meeting room, and said, "Continue. Continue." Everyone ran away. But the people who had just experienced the power of the meeting dared not refute at this time. They sat back in their seats with hums and ahs, stuttering and hesitating. Lin Fan flew out of the window, just because he was afraid that the violent mood would affect her rationality. If she didn't know the severity of the attack, it would be troublesome if she really injured or killed someone. Although the life and death of the garbage was not worth mentioning, her innocent life was not worth being stained by these rubbish. After a burst of anger, the emotions on her head had been absorbed by the bracelet. The remaining anger was still anger, but thanks to the help of the bracelet, it seemed like someone else's emotions were sealed in a case, which made people feel at a loss. She hadn't had such intense emotions for a long time. Lin Fan didn't know whether her current state was good or bad. After thinking about it, she decided to go find Jin Sichin. It was a good opportunity to settle the score with the ugly woman. Chapter 815, The Spoiled Holy Baby. When the cave was broken into, the ugly woman, who was not in a good mood to begin with, wanted to curse. When she saw the crackling arcs of electricity around Lin Fan, she suddenly remembered the pain of her hair being broken a long time ago, and the words that had jumped out of her throat were all choked back into her mouth. She was idioty, and it was quite frustrating. Seeing Lin Fan's gloomy face, the ugly woman probably thought of the reason, and her depressed mood lifted again. Where is Jin Sichin? Lin Fan no longer had the same concerns as before. When passing by the living water, where Mr. Kine was soaking, he stopped and looked for a few seconds, then strode onto the island in the middle of the lake, and sat down unceremoniously on the single sofa that looked the most comfortable. The ugly woman was unhappy that her throne was taken, but she was concerned about the electricity on Lin Fan's body. She took a few deep breaths and decided to endure it. She sat at the other end of the long sofa next to her and admired Lin Fan's bad mood from a close distance with 3 or 4 people between them. Sure enough, the more she watched, the happier she became. "Let's go." The ugly woman smiled and hugged the pillow, her legs comfortably placed on the sofa, and she lay down comfortably. "Where did you go?" Lin Fan asked with a straight face. She didn't pretend to be nice to the ugly woman in the past, and she picked up a can of Coke on the coffee table and opened it directly without any hesitation. With a hiss sound, as the pull ring was opened, it seemed that the sealed emotions in her heart were also pierced, slowly released, and dissipated into the air. Suddenly, Lin Fan felt very boring. What is there to be angry about? What is there to be afraid of? What is there to care about? It seems that everything is meaningless, including those disputes, those emotions. Everything is ultimately empty after the end, when she is destined to leave. Once a person has a great enlightenment, his emotions will naturally not be so bitter and resentful. Lin Fan leaned against the back of the sofa with a calm expression and drank Coke slowly. Her legs naturally folded up, and the electric arc gradually disappeared into her body. She felt comfortable, but the ugly woman felt uncomfortable. "You ask me, who should I ask?" She rolled her eyes and answered reluctantly. Jin Sichin actually said in the morning that he would go back to the Special Affairs office. The official transfer order for Lin Fan to the shuttle was issued yesterday evening, and the ugly woman naturally knew about it. She guessed that Jin Sichin must have gone back to appease the annoying Lin Fan, and Lin Fan suddenly appeared here. That is to say, the two of them must not have met. Otherwise, with Jin Sichin's ability, it would be impossible for Lin Fan to run around with such an emotion. The ugly woman thought that Lin Fan's anger was directed at her, but after waiting for a long time, she didn't wait for her to make trouble, and instead she was adjusted by herself. Thinking that Lin Fan would be abnormal for other reasons, the ugly woman became curious and smoothly connected her hair to the world tree and began to trace the cause. On the huge LCD TV, countless small square pictures appeared instantly, scrolling and refreshing the screen at a very fast speed. Those small grids that looked like mosaics all displayed the images of various surveillance cameras on Langsing. Soon, the footage of the Lan Meng meeting room was found, and the earlier video recordings were played to the maximum. Lin Fan didn't know whether her emotions had really dissipated or because she was in a third-person perspective. When she reviewed the previous bad meeting process again, she was no longer excited, but had the meaning of watching a TV series from the perspective of a spectator. She even carefully analyzed the timing and words of her reply. It felt that she didn't perform well. If it happened again, she should say it this way or that way. Yo. The ugly woman raised her eyebrows, turned around and put her feet on the coffee table, and laughed and mocked. Saint Baby has finally improved. What? Lin Fan didn't understand. I'm talking about you. Seeing that she was holding her own Coke, the ugly woman took a can from the coffee table and opened it in her hand. She pushed it forward with the smoke coming out and made a very casual toasting gesture and took a big sip. The holy baby has finally become independent and strong and has risen up to resist. Congratulations. Lin Fan frowned. What holy baby? It's you. The ugly woman used the hand that didn't hold the Coke to count her fingers one by one to show her. Holy mother, giant baby, put together. Isn't it the holy baby? Or you are a fragile person who hesitates and shrinks when encountering things, and you don't know what you are afraid of. You need others to clean up the mess, and you are not worthy of your position. You are a spoiled saint, baby. Since the roots of the world tree are deep underground in Lansing and connected to the Lansing internet, the ugly woman can easily learn about what is happening or has happened in the world through various cameras and data networks. It can be said that all the camera equipment in the world are her eyes and ears. Moreover, compared to traditional hackers who have to work hard on the keyboard, the way that the ugly woman obtains information is more convenient and direct. She just needs to connect her hair to the world tree. In places without electronic technology, the spiritual power in the air is another medium for her. Although it cannot be as accurate as surveillance, it is still easy to perceive and convey the general beginning and end of things, as well as remote control, such as slapping, neck and other simple actions. In the eyes of the ugly woman, the entire Lansing has no privacy. It's just that the ugly woman is not interested in the daily life of ants and is too lazy to pay attention to them on weekdays. But for Lin Fan, this object intertwined with many complex emotions, the ugly woman has nothing to do. Whenever she thinks of her and feels unhappy, she will track her inexplicably. When Lin Fan didn't know, her nickname here changed from dead girl to that guy, and then to useless thing, and finally to the current holy baby. Jin Sichin had been with the ugly girl for such a long time and witnessed her complex changes in feelings towards Lin Fan. From the initial fear to the later appreciation with a double-faced heart, and then to the anger of not fighting for him. Under the complex feelings of love and hate, the ugly girl recognized Xingqian's ability and affirmed Lin Fan's character, but was furious at her hesitation and repeated thoughts. Who is Xingqian? One of the three mechas at the top of the pyramid of Lansing's combat power. How can someone with such powerful abilities always be indecisive and sticky like a paste? Although she did not resort to these shrinking and wavering, and often just lingered in her heart, and had no major impact on the outcome of the matter, it had a very big impact on Lin Fan's growth. The ugly girl who had been paying attention to Lin Fan could hardly fail to notice the changes in Lin Fan. The dead calf who was decisive enough to risk her life to fight with her when they first met has changed. She is no longer decisive, she began to shrink and habitually escape. Since the appearance of Xingqian, she has shown a powerful extraordinary ability, making all those who know her cherish Lin Fan like a pearl. Regardless of the original intention or purpose, basically everyone holds Lin Fan in their arms, afraid of getting hurt or bumped. In this relaxed and doting environment, although Lin Fan has not become spoiled, she still inevitably develops bad habits. Haha, this is an official complaint. In the past few days, a new treasure has complained about Lin Fan's personality when seeing the previous plot. I want to explain it, but I'm afraid that, if I don't explain it well, it will make the treasure think that I'm a nitpicker, and then it will not be beautiful. So I have been holding it back. I wrote Lin Fan's personality like that several times before on purpose. Hey, I finally said it. Her own mental illness is one aspect, and the special office treats her too well. It's like in a happy family, children are always spoiled, and family members don't take minor problems seriously. The previous meeting, and this time's female clown are another adjustment of her mentality. These minor problems will all be corrected before she really goes out of the star. Of course, I can't say that there are no problems at all, but this annoying problem is definitely gone. But, applause. My god, this line is too long. I won't do it this way next time. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 816 Raw. Someone would help her think through everything, and someone would help her overcome any difficulties. Just like a child who cannot grow up independently in the doting of his parents, Lin Fan's decisiveness was gradually eroded by such a comfortable environment. Later, she always hesitated when encountering things. It was indeed because she had just recovered from a serious illness, but a large part of the reason was that she had not encountered serious enough consequences, so it was difficult to have enough crisis awareness to remind her of the importance of decisiveness. At the same time, she always habitually solved problems with an evasive attitude. Escape, as an effective solution to problems, is not a bad idea. But Lin Fan gradually formed the habit of escaping when encountering problems, because she felt that escaping was a simple and easy to use method. She did not express these emotions, and because she had not encountered any major events, there was no obvious impact visible to the naked eye, so no one thought it was a problem. Even if someone noticed that Lin Fan retreated from time to time because of the existence of the filter, they would automatically make excuses for her, saying that her previous depression had not yet fully recovered, and they would be more tolerant of her. In addition, the environment of the Special Affairs Office was so protective of her. What could be wrong with her own child? What's the problem with the little harmless problem? Normal people all have some minor problems, not to mention Lin Fan, who once had a serious mental illness. She risked her life and was seriously injured several times to save Lan Crossing from danger. How could she not tolerate such a harmless little problem? Anyway, it will get better slowly in the future. Therefore, in this almost doting environment, no one would point out the problem directly. Even the professional practitioner Jin Sichin was too busy with the ugly woman plan and ignored Lin Fan's not so obvious changes. When he found out that the serious things were exposed, Lin Fan was already afraid to fight with Song Ren. But at that time, he took the shuttle plan from above and was anxious to persuade the ugly woman, so he couldn't get away. Fortunately, Lin Fan's condition was not serious. After relaxing the other party's mentality through the phone, he arranged for Song Ren and others to take Lin Fan out to relax, thinking that he would systematically adjust Lin Fan's mental state after the things at hand were finished. But she didn't expect that the ugly woman would directly tie Lin Fan and Fiso together. As a woman who had a grudge against Lin Fan, she naturally wouldn't speak softly to her like others, for fear that she would accidentally hurt her fragile heart. At this moment, she was still distressed that Fiso was about to leave her side, and she vented all her anger on Lin Fan, mocking, ridiculing, and throwing out all kinds of unpleasant and even harsh words. Although the words were unpleasant to hear, it was precisely because of the recklessness that they broke the warm room and provided a normal environment, giving Lin Fan the opportunity to re-examine himself. When Lin Fan heard the ugly woman's words, she didn't react for a while. She frowned slightly and opened her mouth, not knowing how to refute for a while. "Don't want to admit it?" The ugly woman sneered. "Don't admit that you are a saint, or don't admit that you are a giant baby? Humph, bitches are just hypocritical." Lin Fan resisted the urge to splash coke on the ugly woman's face. "Did I offend you? Why didn't I offend you?" The ugly woman shook her head in a mean way. "As long as I think about handing the shuttle to someone like you, I can't sleep or eat well, and I can't sleep at night. Do you think I'm willing to go?" Lin Fan knocked the coke can heavily on the coffee table. "I haven't settled the score with you yet. I'm staying well on Langsing. You let me go to space. Why don't you go by yourself?" Lin Fan wanted to say this, but he was still rational and stopped talking in time. The ugly woman had expressed her desire to leave Langsing before, but they used the spring and autumn style to lead her there. If he blurted it out again, what if she really agreed? What would he do next? Lin Fan calmed down a little. "Do you think I'm willing?" The ugly woman was even more reluctant. She closed her legs and stood on the sofa and yelled, "Am I the one who wants to borrow the shuttle? Am I the one who wants to go on an interstellar adventure? Don't you know what level you Langsing people are at? You want to imitate other advanced civilizations, to go to the interstellar space? Aren't you afraid of going there without coming back? If I don't let you go with me, what if you meet a few capable people? Those idiots who have no brains and no ability can't protect us. If the ship is gone, how can I go to see my queen?" Lin Fan was upset by her yelling, and he stood up and yelled back at her, "I'm also a person who has no brains and no ability." "Who said that?" The ugly woman stood on the armrest of the sofa with her eyes wide open, pointing her hand directly at Lin Fan. "Although you are not smart, I recognize your ability. No one is more suitable to protect my shuttle than you." Lin Fan's excited mood was interrupted by this sudden compliment, and he didn't know whether he should say thank you next. The two yelled at each other, their heads were buzzing, and after a long silence, they sat back on the sofa tacitly. "My brain is not that bad." Lin Fan lowered his head first, and when he spoke, he felt his throat was a little dry and itchy, so he picked up the coke and drank it. HMPH. The ugly woman crossed her hands. "Don't show off your little brain capacity. You are a guy who doesn't want to make progress. I'm really worried." "Hey, don't attack me." Lin Fan interrupted her hurriedly. "Can't you speak properly? You always spit and stick, as if you are angrier than me. Shouldn't I be angrier than you?" The ugly woman questioned incredulously, and the look she gave Lin Fan seemed to confirm once again that she really had no brains. "I don't know where my life will end up, and there are also the lives of a whole ship of people. As you said, there is a high chance that we will not return, and you are just lending a spaceship." Lin Fan sighed, a little depressed. "Look at you." The ugly woman couldn't stand Lin Fan's appearance the most. "I just lent a spaceship? What I lent is my only chance to go home. If the world tree is the ugly woman's resource, then the shuttle is the ugly woman's retreat." Lin Fan actually knew the significance of the shuttle to the ugly woman, so she once thought it was impossible to persuade the ugly woman to lend the shuttle, but she succeeded unexpectedly. So she thought that the shuttle was not as important to the ugly woman as she thought, at least not as important as her own life. Now it seems that it is obviously not the case. The ugly woman still attaches great importance to her opportunity to go home. "So why did you agree to Jinsichin?" Lin Fan was a little curious. She knew that the facts could not be changed, so she simply stopped thinking about it and started another topic to distract some attention. The ugly woman rolled her eyes and didn't want to pay attention to her. "You are like this. No matter what you encounter, you hesitate first and then escape. Can't you face it seriously for once? Where did the girl who dared to drag me to death go? Do you still remember it?" Lin Fan was stunned. "I've read your information. You weren't like this before you got sick, or when you just recovered. How long have you not seriously examined yourself? Do you know how cowardly you are now?" Lin Fan knew her own problems, but this was the first time someone had brought them up in front of her without any hesitation. She didn't expect that the person was the ugly woman. The ugly woman closed her eyes, leaned on the armrest of the sofa, and rested one hand on her knee, as if she didn't want to look at her. "Although I'm sure of you, I'm very disappointed with your recent mentality. You obviously have strong strength. Why do you still look back and forth, hesitate, and want to escape, when you are undecided, and never want to solve the problem head on? I don't understand. You have the top combat power of Langsing. What on earth do you have to shrink from?" The ugly woman pointed to the big screen, which happened to be frozen on the screen where the linemen counselors exchanged glances and had their own thoughts. "How did you, the savior of Langsing, get to this point, that those rubbish even dared to attack your reproductive rights? Are you still not awake?" The ugly woman began to slap Lin Fan to wake him up. She didn't want to be a confidant big sister. It was because the shuttle needed Lin Fan's protection. Only when Lin Fan stood up would the shuttle be safer. Chapter 817 Reflection. The reason why the ugly woman was angry was different from Lin Fan's. She simply felt that with the appearance of a star, it was impossible for mortals to reach it. She was an existence that needed to be looked up to, but she was actually blasphemed by ants. Saint Baby really had a good hand in his hand, and played it badly. Lin Fan was confused by the series of questions from the ugly woman. The first excuse that popped up in her chaotic thoughts was that she was a woman. The fixed impression of this world has led to many occasions that look down on women under the banner of fairness, so today's situation has come about. But when her eyes fell on the ugly woman, she felt something was wrong. The ugly woman is also a woman. Why do people tremble and keep silent every time they mention her and dare not easily dance in front of her? Is it because the ugly woman has a bad temper? No, it's because everyone is afraid of the ugly woman from the bottom of their hearts. Putting aside the insignificant goddess remarks, the ugly woman's strength is shocking. But as an existence who once parted with the ugly woman in life and death, even if there is a gap in strength, she can be regarded as the highest level existence in Lansing. Moreover, compared to the ugly woman who never fought in public and never showed her face, Xingqian's combat ability was seen and recognized by more people. Why did those people still plot against her without scruples? If it had nothing to do with strength, then it was a personality issue. Was she too easygoing? Did she fail to establish her authority, so people thought she was easy to bully? At this moment, Lin Fan suddenly thought of many questions that she had never thought about before, including why she was shrinking. It was also the first time that she seriously faced her heart. If the initial shrinking was because she did not have enough control over her own strength and was not confident enough, so she subconsciously avoided the big hairtail when she first met it. Then, as the mecha was repeatedly upgraded, she had experienced many actual combats and had a very clear basic understanding of her own abilities. Why did she still shrink? Looking back on the past, Lin Fan had always been a person with a very positive mind. She always knew what she wanted and could execute it well according to the plan, doing things neatly and never dragging her feet. Maybe it was because there was no one to rely on, forcing her to quickly and decisively choose the best solution from various pros and cons. Going to college and finding a job were all her own decisions. Later on, whether it was breaking up with her ex-boyfriend or firing her ex-boss, she was always decisive and made decisions when necessary. Putting aside the illness, after gradually recovering, she was quite capable when she accompanied the old man to visit P. Unlike now. So, when did she become like this? Lin Fan's mind flashed through countless images like slides, and he quickly analyzed the most likely reason. You don't even know what you are, and you worry about others all the time. The ugly woman said disdainfully, if it really worked, it would be fine, but you just have wishful thinking in your head without even opening your mouth. You are a self-consuming saint, and it's rare in the world. Others treat you as a fragile object, and you treat yourself as a fragile object too. Oh, what a giant baby. You are obviously a King Kong Barbie, but you insist on treating yourself as a porcelain doll. The ugly woman looked at the tip of her nails with disgust. If I had known that you would become like this today, I would have killed you at all costs, to avoid dragging down my reputation. Lin Fan and the ugly woman both suffered losses, and the words of checks and balances were now printed in the files of the Special Affairs Office. The ugly woman said it was shameful. Lin Fan wanted to refute, but didn't know where to refute. I was wrong. Status is not given by others, but earned by yourself. As the old saying goes, if a woman is not ruthless, her status will not be stable. Although it was not originally used here, Lin Fan felt that it was almost the same. In short, she should be a little ruthless, whether it is to others or to herself. Otherwise, I always feel that I have let down Xingqian. The ugly woman glanced at her unexpectedly. She didn't expect Lin Fan to admit his mistake on the spot, and his face looked better. It's useless to tell me. You have to change it. Lin Fan nodded, but didn't make a promise immediately. She knew that behavioral habits can't be changed just by saying so. After crawling out of the mud pond, it's inevitable that the body is stained with mud and water. It's not a matter of one day or one night to clean it. But after all, after this incident, many things are clear, which is much better than the previous muddle who aided, ignorant, and stupid without knowing it. By the way, Lin Fan didn't analyze his inner thoughts with the ugly woman, but asked other things instead. Although I didn't agree, could they have already got my vagina during the previous physical examination? Can you help me check it? Do you think I'm watching the surveillance? Can I help you check it? The ugly woman refused with a bad attitude, but still put her mind at ease. Don't worry. You can't do invasive gynecological examinations during your daily physical examinations because of your body's repair, let alone egg retrieval. The pain level will not leave you without a lasting impression. The only 2 times you had the chance were on the operating table. One time, although it was in the abdominal cavity, but at that time, no one was busy rescuing you and could not take care of this aspect. The other time, the injury was in the cervical spine, not in the abdominal cavity, and there was no chance. The ugly woman found and watched the videos of those 2 times. After watching them, her feelings towards Lin Fan, this enemy, became more complicated. That's good. Lin Fan breathed a sigh of relief. Seeing that she believed it, the ugly woman got angry. Can you at least question it? Do you believe what I say? Because you said it, I believe it. Lin Fan saw that she smiled frankly. The ugly woman's ability was still top notch, and she disdained to lie. Everything she said would not be false, just like she would definitely do what she promised. The ugly woman was defeated by Lin Fan, and a corner of her heart felt very useful, and unconsciously added a few more words. Don't think that everything will be fine without the sperm. With the right technology, cells can also be used as reproductive materials. Lin Fan suddenly thought of the famous cloned sheep, and his heart skipped a beat. She had a lot of physical examination materials, blood samples, and skin and flesh cells. Seeing Lin Fan's pale face, the ugly woman finally spoke again after being happy. But you don't have to be afraid. Your octopus man genes belong to the 4th level civilization. If you want to analyze them, you must at least reach the 2nd level civilization or higher. As for utilization, it is impossible without reaching the 3rd level civilization. Forget about the current immature cloning technology of Langsing. Let's not talk about how long it will take for Langsing to develop into the 3rd level civilization. By then, the weapon system will be earth-shaking, and there will be many choices. There is no need to clone you. This time, Lin Fan waited for the ugly woman for a long time, and was sure that she had no reservations, so he was really relieved. When Jin Sichin and Wu Yusen rushed in a hurry, they saw Lin Fan and the ugly woman occupying a corner of the sofa, neither communicating nor making noise, quietly ignoring each other's existence, and being in a daze. Am I dazzled, or what? Jin Sichin was distracted when Wu Yusen suddenly spoke, and he tripped and almost fell. Wu Yusen quickly caught him. How can these 2 people coexist peacefully? Wu Yusen pulled Jin Sichin's arm in disbelief and kept rushing to the center of the lake. When they learned that Lin Fan came to find the ugly woman in anger, they thought they were in trouble. He pulled Jin Sichin, who had just returned to the Special Affairs office and had not yet caught his breath, and rushed back again. They rushed all the way and ran through countless red lights. Even Jin Sichin, who was not carsick, felt that he was going to get carsick. As a result, the scene of the 2 kings meeting each other was not what they imagined. There was thunder and lightning, and all the people were in turmoil. I said that the ugly woman's feelings for Lin Fan are not what they seem on the surface, but you don't believe it. Jin Sichin whispered to Wu Yusen with a smile on his face. When he saw the ugly woman looking up, he hurried to show his best state to greet her. Wu Yusen would definitely not believe it, because he witnessed the life and death battle between the 2 with his own eyes. Although the ugly woman was recruited, it was still a life and death feud. How could it be so easy to resolve? However, seeing the 2 people getting along peacefully, he couldn't really expect the 2 to fight. He was just glad that everything was fine, and ran towards Lin Fan quickly. There were a lot of changes here. I picked and chose to present this part. I feel that the writing is not so satisfactory, but compared with other options, it can basically express some meanings. I originally planned to write about Lin Fan's inner thoughts, but I think it is too redundant, so it is better to leave it blank. She has realized the problem now. She will change. Applause. I always think that changing a person's behavior habits is not a matter of one day or one night. First of all, you must have a clear understanding, then you must have the determination to change, and then time. You have to go against the physiological inertia that has already formed a habit to make adjustments. I don't think it's so real that you can immediately become another person after making up your mind, so I wrote it so long. But now I think it's too long. Who cares about those details that are close to reality when reading novels? Don't make such a long line next time. I wrote it down in my little notebook. Chapter 818 Intensive Training. Jin Sichin was worried that the ugly woman might be upset if she was left alone, so he arranged for them to leave first. Wu Yusen led Lin Fan, who was obviously much calmer than usual, out. "Hey!" The ugly woman called out across the running water, stopping the silent Lin Fan. The ugly woman threatened fiercely. "The genes of the octopus man improve the brain more than the body. If you continue to be as bad as before, and fail to live up to your physical talent, and involve my shuttle, I will skin you alive." Lin Fan smiled at the ugly woman, turned around and waved his hand. "I know, my lady, just stay at home and wait." On the way back, Lin Fan didn't say a word. She tilted her head and looked at the flickering lights outside the passenger window, wondering what she was thinking. Wu Yusen didn't say anything either. He was thinking about Lin Fan leaving Langsing. When he first heard the news in the morning, he was very confused. What should he do? Should he go with him? One question after another made him panic. Before he could figure it out, Antonio told him about the good things Lan Meng had done, and the news that Lin Fan was missing. Wu Yusen's heart was no longer in a mess, and he started to look for people in an orderly manner. It was not until the guards outside the female clown cave reported the news of Lin Fan's passing that he became nervous again. He was worried all the way, and only now that he was safe and everything was fine did he remember that Lin Fan was leaving. It was rare that they were silent all the way until they arrived at the Special Affairs office and sent him to the office. Lin Fan did not tell Wu Yusen what she was thinking, and Wu Yusen did not ask. He originally thought that, as long as he worked hard to catch up, it would only be a matter of time to catch up with Lin Fan. Now suddenly the distance was added. Wu Yusen, who loved to laugh, could not laugh anymore. The action above was very fast. In just one day, Lin Fan's transfer order was in ZHU Kunjin's hands. "Here, take a look." ZHU Kunjin knew that time was urgent, so he called Lin Fan over immediately. Lin Fan thought she would toss and turn, but she didn't expect that she would fall asleep easily and sleep soundly. She looked at the A4 paper transfer order and was surprised after reading it word by word. "Let me go to 800 for special training." She was not surprised to go to 800, but that there were boarding personnel from other forces of the Lan Alliance also training at 800, and she would have to cross-train with these people in the later stage. As a special scientific research institution and a secret security unit, how could 800 allow so many foreign forces to enter? Yes, ZHU Kunjin took out a cigarette and held it in his hand without lighting it. "This time there are a lot of contents involving you, most of which are related to the equipment and driving of the spacecraft, and there are also contents related to the universe. In addition, the large force is in 800, so it will be convenient for you to go there for collective cooperation." Lin Fan turned to the second page, and after seeing the dense special training course list, her eyes went dark. "So many courses, are you sure I can finish them? Vehicle driving, mechanical repair basics, close combat skills, shuttle driving basics, astronomy basics, rapid first aid operation, wilderness survival teaching." In her nearly 40 years of life, all the learning content, plus comics, novels, games and other forms of content, are not as much as these things in her hand. Not to mention that these things are incredible, just by looking at the names. The ugly woman said you can. ZHU Kunjin knocked the cigarette in his hand on the table. She said that the brain area of octopus people is very well developed. As a carrier of octopus people's genes, and carrying a lot of world tree energy, you are fully capable of quickly learning a lot of knowledge. The development level of the brain of the blue star people is only less than 1%, and you can completely break away from the level of the blue star people and develop at a higher level, as long as you are willing to work hard. Lin Fan felt that the ugly woman still hated her. What belief, what protection of the shuttle are they actually to torture her? Yesterday he was still a person, but today he is nothing. ZHU Kunjin saw that Lin Fan pursed his lips tightly and looked unhappy. He felt vaguely that something seemed to be a little different, but he didn't have time to think it through and continued. "I protested, but those dogs above seemed to smell the meat and refused to let go. My protest was ineffective. It's okay, Director." Lin Fan continued to look through the courses she was about to learn. "I know what I'm doing." ZHU Kunjin felt that Lin Fan was a little strange today. The previous Lin Fan would never say this in this posture and tone. What he wanted to ask, he heard Lin Fan ask back. When are you going? Immediately, ZHU Kunjin replied, the transfer order will take effect immediately, but you still have time to pack your luggage. In addition, Jin Sichin will accompany you as a psychologist during this special training, and Wu Yusen will stay behind. Or do you need him to go too? No. Lin Fan refused without thinking. Wu Yusen is busy at the Academy of Supernatural Powers, so let him take care of his own things, and don't worry about me. Okay. Jin Sichin. Forget it. Lin Fan wanted to say that Jin Sichin didn't need to go either, but found himself starting to be nosy again. Jin Sichin was on the transfer order, so it was meaningless for her to say anything, and with such a high intensity special training, she should and really needed Jin Sichin's professional knowledge to help. Time is tight, the task is heavy, you are nearly 2 months shorter than the others, and your position in the shuttle cannot be low. I won't say anything to encourage you, I just hope you take care of yourself, and everything should be safe and healthy. ZHU Kunjin was as kind as ever. Lin Fan, whose mentality had changed, felt warm and indeed felt obvious indulgence. I know. Lin Fan nodded neatly. 800 has my luggage, I don't have anything to pack, I'll go back and get 800's badge later and leave directly. ZHU Kunjin was stunned for a moment, responded with a okay, and told her to go through the exit number of the door number. Lin Fan put the transfer order back on the table, and after giving ZHU Kunjin some special instructions, he left the office. A few minutes later, ZHU Kunjin stared at the prompt of the special exit opening and closing on the monitor for a long time. After stroking the lighter several times, he frowned and dialed Jin Sichin's number. Almost in the blink of an eye, Lin Fan arrived at 800. After entering from the Mecha specific landing channel, he greeted many acquaintances in 623. There were more new mechas on display in 623. Lin Fan thought that from the earliest single form, blindly imitating the stars, to the current flourishing, the progress was really great. And the one who stayed in the same place, or even regressed, seemed to be really the only one. She found a commuter bus and drove to the office building, ready to report to see Ui Yan first. Unexpectedly, she saw a long lost person in his office. Long time no see, Lin Fan. Shen Bei greeted the surprised Lin Fan with a smile. Why are you here? Lin Fan was taken care of by him during the visit, and he also had a good impression of him. Of course he has to come. See, Ui Yan interrupted coldly with a straight face. He is the instructor in charge of your close combat class. After being surprised, Lin Fan felt it was natural. Shen Bei is the captain of the Guon team, and it is said that he is very good at fighting. When the two competed, he also said that his boxing and kicking skills were not good enough, and asked her to find a master to practice again. Unexpectedly, after finding him, he asked him to come and teach boxing and kicking in person. Lin Fan sighed that the fate of people is really wonderful, and smiled and stretched out his right hand. Then please give me more advice, Instructor Shen. Chapter 819. Lin Fan has changed. Time flies. It was several months later that John Woo saw Lin Fan again. He was ordered to pick her up at the airport. As a leader who has not yet stepped down, John Woo watched Lin Fan's training log. The densely packed courses were frightening. What was even more frightening was that at the beginning of the plan, there was a proposal pointing out that Lin Fan's body was centered on energy. As long as she was guaranteed to have enough intake, in theory, she could go without sleep. The scary thing was that this outrageous proposal was proven to be feasible and was successfully implemented for several months. They greatly compressed Lin Fan's sleep time in exchange for more study time, and Lin Fan actually persisted. John Woo felt distressed, and ZHU Kunjin was worried that such a high intensity, even tortured, even abused special training life would cause Lin Fan to have serious psychological problems. Even the most normal people would find it difficult to withstand such airtight pressure, right? This is also the reason why Jin Sichin was asked to accompany them. However, judging from Jin Sichin's feedback report, although Lin Fan's mood fluctuated slightly, it was far from the bad situation imagined. Jin Sichin said that Lin Fan had changed. Now she was unexpectedly tough, and she was no longer the Lin Fan of the past. Wu Yusen laughed that Jin Sichin didn't understand Lin Fan. He knew all kinds of Lin Fan, whether it was the past, the present, the vigorous, or the listless. What kind of Lin Fan was not Lin Fan? Jin Sichin smiled mysteriously and did not refute, just saying that you would know when the time came. Wu Yusen didn't care, just said that it was a good thing that Lin Fan became stronger. Although he felt sorry for her hard work, he was also happy for her. Until he saw her again in person. Lin Fan was indeed different. In the past, even if Lin Fan had no expression, her mouth was curved, which made people look kind. She always had a relaxed and leisurely attitude, and was casual and careless about everything, and even lazy to a certain extent, like a rich and idle person. And now Lin Fan. Her naturally slightly upturned mouth corners were straightened by her. When she had no expression, she looked very serious. The distance created by the strong sense of rejection made people dare not approach her easily. She stood straight, moved quickly, and had a firm look in her eyes. She was like a treasure that had been tempered and reborn, and it was hard to hide her sharpness even when hidden in the sheath. She was an elite with powerful abilities. Her overflowing strong self-confidence easily convinced people, and she could not hide her elegance, even if she was low-key. John Woo suddenly thought of himself when he was in the special forces, and thought of Song Ren. He thought that Lin Fan had become stronger, but he never thought she could be so strong. With a height of 1.7 meters, she exuded an aura of 3.8 meters, which made passers-by around her dare not approach. In the bustling airport, a large circle of natural vacuum zone was formed around Lin Fan, and coupled with her good appearance, it was hard not to attract attention. But she had a cold face, and she was so cold and hard that people who wanted to chat up didn't dare to approach her easily, until a handsome guy who was not afraid of death walked over. When Lin Fan saw Wu Yusen, the corners of her mouth naturally curled up, and the coldness instantly melted, and the old Lin Fan returned. Wu Yusen looked at Lin Fan from head to toe, paused for a while on the shadow under her eyes, and said, "Thank you for your hard work. Serve the people." Lin Fan smiled. Wu Yusen reached out to take her luggage bag. Lin Fan hesitated for a moment and let go. Then she was hugged by Wu Yusen. Wu Yusen hugged her tightly, and Lin Fan didn't know whether she should break free from him for a while, and then she heard his voice behind her ears. "Welcome home." Lin Fan felt warm in her heart, and had a sense of relief that everything had settled. She suppressed the sourness under her nose, and hugged him back with a grin. She heard that her voice was a little hoarse, and she replied softly but happily, "Well, I'm back." Fuck. Someone in the crowd watching from afar whispered in surprise, "The iceberg beauty can melt with just one hug. I should have gone up earlier. My embrace is the broad sea, the scorching sun." The friend next to him slapped him on the back of his head without any hesitation. "Stop talking nonsense. I obviously know him. If you want to die, don't do it in front of me." On the way back to the Special Affairs office, Lin Fan seemed to have returned to the beginning, and kept complaining to Wu Yusen about the silence of the past few months. "It's not enough to let me drive a car, a motorcycle, and a tank, but I also have to drive a speedboat, a ship, and even a plane. Learning to drive is enough, and I also have to learn to repair. I can open a repair shop now, and the advertisement says I can repair everything in the world, which is not an exaggeration at all. All kinds of gun/weapon training. Not only do you have to shoot accurately, but you also have to be able to disassemble and assemble. That's not all. You also have to understand the firing principle, and even let me make earth-made bullets and bang. Bang." Wu Yusen suddenly heard something strange, and turned his head to express his confusion. "It's the evolution of Tikik. I not only learned how to make small fireworks, but also how to make big ones." Lin Fan spread his hands and gestured a big circle. Bang. "Hey, isn't it?" Wu Yusen understood. "Just say it directly. Are you afraid that it won't pass the review? You don't understand." Lin Fan slumped down on the co-pilot seat, his body sliding down. "I've been living these past few months. It's okay to learn these practical operations, but I also have to learn cultural knowledge. I didn't work so hard in the college entrance examination." "That's true. The knowledge required for college entrance examinations is not so broad." Wu Yusen silently supported him in his heart. Fortunately, practical operations only require basic operations, and most of the knowledge only requires memorization, without understanding or extension and development. Otherwise, I would really be grateful, Lin Fan lamented. Thank you so much. Learning a skill well is not something that can be achieved quickly. It is impossible to achieve high-end and sophisticated skills without years of training and accumulation. Fortunately, Lang Meng requires Lin Fan to know everything and be able to operate it right away, but it does not require him to be very good. For example, flying a plane. Lin Fan had to master the driving methods of various aircraft, such as how to start, how to land, how to fly straight, and some emergency plans. The main goal was to be able to fly and know how to fly. But if she were to compete with professional fighter pilots like Ji Yu and Gao Fei in terms of skills, she would definitely not be able to do so. But she could successfully take off and land, and knew how to aim and fire, and that was enough. It was typical that she knew a lot but not much, but it was enough. These were actually preparations for the unknown space journey. The more Lin Fan knew, the greater her survival rate in the face of crisis and difficulties. It just so happened that the octopus gene in her body could indeed be squeezed to the extreme by this extreme development, so it became such a terrible situation. If it weren't for the powerful gene of the octopus man, it would be impossible to do it, even if 100 Einsteins were killed. Lin Fan understood this. No matter what Lan Meng was thinking, the benefits of the result would indeed fall on her. For the sake of her own life, she had to swallow it, whether she wanted to or not. Also because she understood that, although the process was tiring, there was almost no psychological resistance. You don't know, there is also postpartum care for SOs in those books. Lin Fan continued to mutter, it's fine to learn human first aid, at least it can be used. Why is there animal medicine? Wu Yusen turned his head and took a look. Lin Fan had a bitter face and numb eyes, looking like she was squeezed dry. Then have you learned it? I learned it. She sighed helplessly. I suspect they want to make me a living encyclopedia. Thanks to the octopus man, they seem to have succeeded. Under the memory of swallowing it whole, Lin Fan didn't have much time to understand. He would vomit just by remembering it. But at the same time, he also deeply realized the limitlessness of the brain. It seems that it is really like what the ugly woman said, as long as she works hard, she can develop deeper and wider functions. Wu Yusen saw that she was not in high spirits and her expression became silent again, so he hurriedly changed the topic. I heard that you and Song Ren had an appointment to fight. Lin Fan's eyes really lit up, and he really perked up. So well informed? Not really, Wu Yusen laughed. We still don't know who will win or lose. I want to ask you, the person involved, what is the outcome? Lin Fan licked his lower lip and smiled playfully. Guess. Are you surprised or not? Are you surprised that a person as slow as me can actually save several months of process? Ha 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 ha. Isn't it great? I have considered that this training process is not very relevant to the main plot, so there is no need to expand it. Anyway, Lin Fan has become stronger in these few months and knows more things. This is also due to the genes of the octopus man before. Their brain development is very powerful. They are all connected, right? I'm awesome. So in the interstellar journey later, Lin Fan's ability and personality will become very powerful. Wow. It can be a cool story later. Not easy, not easy. Applause. Chapter 820 Lin Qiubei. Lin Fan and Song Ren had fought a month ago as part of their training, so the report naturally recorded this. But at that time, the two of them fought alone behind closed doors, and both of them were injured. They didn't say who won or lost, which made many people curious about the result, but they had no way of knowing. I guess. Wu Yusen looked forward, tapping the steering wheel with his slender fingers, with the most common smile on his face. Draw. How did you guess it? Lin Fan was surprised and curious. Although there are only 3 possible results for him to lose and me to win, no one has ever guessed a draw. There were also many people who guessed the result in 800 miles. Li Chunhua and others even took the opportunity of meeting in the cafeteria to run to Lin Fan to ask. Although Lin Fan didn't tell them the result, they all said what they thought, either guessing Song Ren to win or guessing Lin Fan to win. Thinking of Li Chunhua's face full of heartache, Lin Fan smiled again. I guessed it. Wu Yusen smiled, without revealing her little trick. In fact, it's not difficult to guess. Apart from the difference in strength caused by the gender difference, the strength of Lin Fan and Song Ren should not be much different. Lin Fan is no match for Song Ren in terms of strength, although Song Ren is also no match for her when she holds a cold weapon. If they fight in a non-match posture, Song Ren will never hurt Lin Fan. Apart from the special opportunity, in an ordinary competition, if you want to make Lin Fan lose, you have to be ruthless and make her unable to move. Broken hands and feet are inevitable, but killing Lin Fan, Wu Yusen is sure that Song Ren can't do it. Even if Lin Fan has a super self-healing ability, she will be unscathed in a few days. But after all, it's just a competition. They are very close friends and colleagues. It's impossible to use such a heavy hand, not to mention that Lin Fan has the buff of the person she loves. Of course, Lin Fan is not without a way to win. If she picks up a weapon or releases electricity, Song Ren will still be unable to withstand it. But Lin Fan disdains to do that. Song Ren also knows her thoughts, so a draw is the most reasonable result. Shen Bei taught me a lot of close combat skills, which gave me a lot of extra points. Lin Fan explained. Although Song Ren didn't try his best, it wasn't as easy as you think. You don't know Shen Bei. He looks decent, but he's really shady. I didn't try my best either. After all, I'm embarrassed to use some shady tricks on acquaintances. I can imagine. Wu Yusen chuckled. Although Shen Bei has also worked in the military, he follows the path of the civilians, and his ideas and moves are more flexible. Sure enough, you are good at talking. Lin Fan gave him a thumbs up. Indeed, compared to the orthodox and glorious hardcore military tactics, many of Shen Bei's moves are not up to paragraph. He rarely uses them, but it's definitely the most appropriate to teach them to me. So if Song Ren and I go all out, it's really hard to say who will win or lose. But there's no need. Of course I support you. Wu Yusen quickly flattered. Song Ren is not from our special affairs office. Even if he is, I will firmly stand by you and hold the banner for you. Lin Fan laughed. Rather than winning or losing, I'm more surprised that you actually agreed to compete with him. Wu Yusen pretended to be casual and tested. He was also present when Fu Guang first appeared and pressed Xingqian to beat him. Lin Fan's resistance was very obvious. So later, when he suddenly saw the report saying that the two had fought, Wu Yusen knew that Lin Fan's concerns had disappeared, and he let go of his worries, but he was curious. He wanted to know the change. Lin Fan thought about it and replied slowly, "It's nothing. I didn't fight him at the beginning, because I kept thinking about him lying in bed at that time, and I felt I couldn't do it. Later, Shen Bei trained me every day, and brought out my violent factor. For a while, I wanted to find someone to fight every day." Shen Bei saw that Lin Fan was so motivated, which was a good thing. It just so happened that those who were going to the shuttle were all in the 800 special training. They were ready-made confrontation materials, no targets. Perfect. So, during that period of time, Shen Bei dragged Lin Fan to the shuttle guard team every day to find someone to fight. The people who were selected to join the shuttle guard team were also the best fighters selected by the military departments of various forces in Langsing. They naturally knew about the existence of Xingqian, but in their eyes, Lin Fan, who was not wearing a mecha, was just an ordinary thin and beautiful woman. Challenge? Not only did the members of other forces burst into laughter, but even the members of Country H couldn't help laughing. It may not be all ridicule, but being laughed at was definitely not a good intention. Lin Fan was not annoyed, nor did she make excuses. She wanted to fight the most at that time, and she wished that someone could find a fault so that she could fight openly, so she went straight to it. Fists can replace many languages to make people understand the truth. Lin Fan beat them without saying a word. If she could beat them with fists, she would use any props at hand, such as tables, chairs, and benches. With weapons in hand, Lin Fan was not afraid of the difference in strength at all. So the shuttle guard team, who were originally laughing, could not laugh anymore. This woman is a bit evil. She can use all kinds of tricky angles, and people feel numb here and there, even though her hands haven't reached them yet. Once she holds a sharp weapon, it is even more terrible. She hits people with a loud sound. No one can stand under her hands. The guards, who usually have many conflicts, suddenly showed unprecedented unity at this moment and didn't care about the high sounding nonsense such as being humble to ladies and caring for the weak. In the end, no matter how they resisted, they still couldn't escape the fate of lying on the ground. Ouch, ouch. Later, when they knew who Lin Fan was, they should have doubted, disobeyed or other discordant voices, but they didn't appear at all. Lin Fan beat them. Even if some people may not be completely convinced by Lin Fan, they can't deny her strength. What's more, she is Xingqian. Lin Fan didn't expect to inadvertently give the various forces of the shuttle a warning and suppress the impetuous people. The recognition of Lin Fan's strength also saved a lot of trouble for the already complicated shuttle personnel structure and daily operation. Of course, this is a later story. Shen Bei kept giving instructions during Lin Fan's discussion. Lin Fan reflected on the review and adjusted before looking for these people to continue discussing. After so many times, the guards got scared and hid when they saw Lin Fan. The flight base where they were staying found out and was very curious. They also came to ask for a beating. Later, the 800 reserve team also found out. After that, there was no guard in this secret base who had not been beaten by Lin Fan, except Song Ren. I didn't avoid him on purpose. He was doing special training for Fuguang at that time. It was just a coincidence. Anyway, I never met him. I beat Li Chunhua many times. Lin Fan smiled. Later, I finally met him. They encouraged me to fight Song Ren. At that time, I felt invincible and wanted to be the best. When he said this, he saw Wu Yusen glanced at him. Lin Fan touched his nose and felt a little embarrassed. Plus, so much time has passed, Song Ren has become stronger, and the impression of him being sick and weak has gradually faded, so we fought. So time is the best thing. Whether it's injury, pain, unwillingness, getting stronger, getting weaker, everything changes with time. Lin Fan sighed while looking at his toes. So there's no need to worry, just do what you want to do at the moment. The car suddenly became quiet. Wu Yusen was not sure whether the previous sentence was referring to him. He hesitated for a long time, clenched the steering wheel with his fingers, and opened his mouth. I didn't apply to go on the shuttle. 2 million words. Ha. Hello. Finally passed another milestone. It's not easy, not easy. Give a thumbs up to myself and my children. There was originally a plot of Mecha saving people, but I decided to delete it and go to StarCraft. Without these nonsense, I feel like I have also upgraded. Chapter 821 Forced Intervention. Lin Fan naturally knew that Wu Yusen would not board the shuttle. Although she had a temporary physical aversion to words due to her oversaturation of learning, she did not even look at the official list of personnel when it was handed to her. However, she also knew that all the personnel on board, regardless of gender, age or position, had their physical training and shuttle control related learning concentrated in 800, but the intensity varied from person to person. Over the past few months, although Lin Fan could not recognize all the people whose clothes were obviously different from those of 800, she had generally become familiar with them. Among them, of course, Wu Yusen was not included. If Wu Yusen was on the list of personnel traveling on the shuttle, they would not have met each other at least once, and there was no need for Wu Yusen to avoid her training. Lin Fan had long known that Wu Yusen would not leave with her, and her feelings were complicated, but after a few months, she had been able to accept the fact of separation. Wu Yusen had a special place in Lin Fan's heart. He appeared unexpectedly, almost as a savior, and pulled Lin Fan out of the abyss. Later, he took care of her and accompanied her in every possible way. In Lin Fan's heart, the person she trusted the most and was closest to was none other than John Woo. So when she felt uneasy because of the sudden transfer order, the first person she wanted to rely on was John Woo. If John Woo was with her, she might feel more at ease, she thought. But almost immediately, she denied her idea. There was no reason for such a good John Woo to accompany her on this dangerous journey. Lin Fan could not be optimistic about this kind of adventure, where nothing was certain and only relied on courage to gamble on the odds. In fact, to some extent, she felt that it was no different from sending herself to die. No one was willing to drag their closest friends along at this time, in this kind of exploration, where nothing was certain and full of unknowns. Exploring the universe was not like exploring Langsing. If the result was not good, even if there were heavy casualties, at least they were still on Lansing, and there were still ways to think about it. If they were lucky, they could also have a way to retreat. In the vast interstellar space, you can't even tell up, down, left, and right. In the pitch black darkness, once you are in danger, you can only do your best and leave it to fate. Wu Yusen has a happy family and a superpower that he has just mastered and is on a good track. Lansing is the home ground that will make his future brilliant. He shouldn't be sent to the shuttle as an appendage and drift aimlessly because of his cowardice. In Lin Fan's eyes, Wu Yusen is a powerful, gentle, and friendly gold medal special agent of the Special Affairs Agency. He should be happy and free to display his omnipotence on the land of Lansing, instead of being tied to her and consuming his light. Although with Wu Yusen's ability, even if he gets on the shuttle, he will definitely not be lost in the process of exploring the interstellar. But it is different. It is obviously much better for Wu Yusen to stay on Lansing to continue to grow his superpowers than for him to follow them in the unknown universe, groping around like a blind man, with an uncertain return, and unknown life and death. Lin Fan understands the helplessness of being forced. She can't choose, but she hopes that her friends will not be forced. She knew that her needs would be indulged to the maximum extent at the moment, and she was afraid that someone would cater to her and transfer all those close to her to the shuttle to accompany her. Don't doubt it, the pig brains of the Lan Meng would definitely do it. Although she didn't do the evil, she was the source and the result. Lin Fan didn't want to do this evil. She hoped that all the friends who were good to her would be safe and happy, and have a good beginning and a good end in Blue Star. So before leaving the Special Affairs office to go to the 800 special training, she took advantage of the fact that her transfer order had just come down, and many personnel deployments had not yet officially taken effect, and she specifically explained to ZHU Kunjin she didn't want Wu Yusen and other close friends to be added to the list for inexplicable reasons, and the execution form was more important than the meaning, which would make her continue to accompany the task with guilt. She intervened from the very beginning to prevent Wu Yusen from getting on the shuttle. Not only did she know, but she was also happy to see it happen. In a happy and beautiful life, no one wants to leave their hometown. No matter what kind of separation, it will not be more important than living well in a familiar and safe place. What's more, Wu Yusen has a future that is about to take off. Lin Fan never thought that the separation would come so suddenly, and he knew that it was too late to do anything to repay these friends who have always tolerated him and given him warmth. He can only regard this strong interference to prevent them from deviating from the trajectory of their lives as the last gift he can give to the same land. As long as they are safe in Lansing, his heart will be at peace when he is wandering outside. Don't have any psychological burden. She saw the guilty look on Wu Yusen's face, smiled and patted his shoulders twice. Not applying is the wise choice. The Special Affairs need you. Lansing needs you. On the contrary, if I see you on the list, then I will be the one who has the burden. Wu Yusen saw that Lin Fan smiled sincerely. His eyes were gentle and firm, and there was no pretense of concealing his intentions. He couldn't tell what he felt in his heart. He knew that Lin Fan's mind was also confused when he was about to leave Lansing. Go, not go. He, who has always been decisive, found it difficult to make a decision for a while. Later, Antonio came to look for someone, and he rushed to pick up the clown. He was so anxious on the way that he didn't have time to think about these things. After picking up the person, he was silent all the way. Wu Yusen spent a whole night and still couldn't completely determine what to choose. Thinking that the matter was urgent, the transfer order might have been handed over to ZHU Kunjin, and maybe he was already on the transfer list, so there was no need to worry about it. Or, ask ZHU Kunjin if there is a suitable position for him in the shuttle. ZHU Kunjin listened to him with a complicated expression, and his eyes drifted to the email he had just received on the monitor. Lin Fan's expectations were correct. For her, Wu Yusen, Wang Fengfeng, and even Zhao He and other friends she was familiar with were all on the latest personnel adjustment list. If it weren't for Song Ren and Li Chunhe, these special talents who were irreplaceable, they would also be on the list. These transfer orders came together with Lin Fan's special training order, but ZHU Kunjin didn't tell her, because he had to inform each person individually. After Lin Fan left, ZHU Kunjin called Jin Sichin and talked for a long time. After hanging up, he submitted an application to remove people from the list according to her wishes. Almost immediately, the application was approved, and Wu Yusen and others were all removed from the list. Just when he breathed a sigh of relief, Wu Yusen came. Lin Fan was thinking about Wu Yusen, and Wu Yusen was also worried about Lin Fan. ZHU Kunjin felt that the two of them could be regarded as another kind of two-way rush, but ZHU Kunjin told Wu Yusen directly that he was not among the transfers and analyzed his career prospects as the highest leader of the Special Affairs Office. In Langsing, there is a more familiar environment and a more handy way of working. His supernatural powers can continue to be studied and release greater energy. His life value and manifestation will be maximized in Langsing. On the shuttle, accompanying Lin Fan, his supernatural power learning will be interrupted, and the power is not worth mentioning. The advantage of the familiar environment is no longer there. Compared with the excellent individual soldiers who perform tasks independently, in the shuttle with generally higher levels, he is more likely to become a special appendage beside Lin Fan. The superiority and inferiority are immediately apparent. Chapter 822. His love is not worthy of such a good girl. Wu Yusen was not so determined to go on the shuttle with Lin Fan. He had thought about what ZHU Kunjin said. But when Lin Fan was placed on the other side of the scale, the originally clear choice still made him hesitate. If he went, he would become the ordinary person who was good for nothing, and could only watch Lin Fan take risks, and could not help him at all. If he did not go, his superpowers would increase, and he would become stronger. Maybe one day, he could really reach the level of being on par with Lin Fan. But the person who made him want to become stronger left. He knew that, after getting on the shuttle, he would still be the ordinary person on Langsing who could only look up to Lin Fan, and his essence would not change. Moreover, because the interstellar risks were greater, he could do less, and perhaps, he would only be able to accompany him. It was the same as when he chose to go to the Superpower Academy to improve himself instead of accompanying Lin Fan. The choice itself did not change, but what changed was that Lin Fan was going to a place farther away and more out of reach, which made him hesitate again, and it was difficult for him to easily choose to let go. Maybe this separation would be forever. He knew everything, and had already made a bias in his heart, but he just wanted to be convinced again. It was as if he said too much, his choice would be the one that everyone expected and had to be chosen, and he would not feel so uncomfortable. But when he nodded and promised to stay in Langsing, he seemed to hear the sound of the crystal box that he cherished and hid in his heart, which sealed the young buds of his feelings, breaking. Seeing him melancholy, ZHU Kunjin sighed and told him that Lin Fan had already implemented the interference method, and no matter what choice he made, it would not change the result. The reason why he told him at the end was that he did not want the established result to affect his judgment of the matter itself. Wu Yusen's eyes suddenly widened, and then he laughed again. He lowered his head and walked out of ZHU Kunjin's office quickly, not wanting his blurred eyes to be seen by others. Fortunately, he didn't say it. He smiled bitterly and thought to himself. Fortunately, he didn't let Lin Fan know, otherwise she would definitely be sad. He liked her, but he was not worthy of such a good girl. Wu Yusen felt like a scumbag, just abandoning this unspoken feeling. Even if he shouted slogans to protect Lin Fan and keep pace with her, in the final analysis, he was the only one who would benefit in the end. He selfishly chose himself. Every time he thought about it, he could not stop blaming himself. Now that Lin Fan was in front of him and told him not to worry, Wu Yusen felt even worse. But in order not to make Lin Fan worry, he forced himself to smile. That smile was so fake that Lin Fan saw through it at a glance. She did not continue to expose her, nor did she continue to persuade him. Instead, she talked about other topics. I drove the shuttle to 800 yesterday. Do you know how it was finally made? Wu Yusen looked at her anxious expression of ask me quickly and smiled from the bottom of his heart. I don't know. How did you make it? The shuttle was deep underground, covered with heavy rock layers above and magma below. How to make the shuttle come out intact without letting the magma flow back, and without too much effort. A group of geological engineers racked their brains. They had no choice but to ask the ugly woman. Unexpectedly, the way to deal with it was unexpectedly simple, but also unexpectedly bold. Most people would not dare to try it easily. Isn't there magma under the shuttle? Lin Fan crossed his hands and smiled proudly. I went in and followed the magma route from the seabed. The shuttle has always been located above the magma, absorbing high temperature heat energy as reserve energy, but no one has ever thought that the shuttle can withstand the high temperature of the magma. Diving into the magma is like diving. No one has tried it. Who dares to try? After thousands of years, the choice of restarting the shuttle naturally fell on Lin Fan. The ugly woman chose her because she disliked other Langsing people, and the Lion Alliance chose her because of the high physical resistance of the star. If the ugly woman was wrong, Lin Fan could at least get out of the magma. If it was someone else, they would really be wiped out. Really? Wu Yusen knew the situation a long time ago, but he still cooperated and showed just the right amount of surprise. That scene was spectacular, wasn't it? That's right. Lin Fan was very proud. I was a little worried at first, but after I really went in, the high temperature was actually completely blocked out, and the shuttle didn't even leave a scratch. She shook her head and leaned back in her chair. So, high tech, it's really, she said while clicking her tongue, admiring the high-tech products from the bottom of her heart, and at the same time, began to look forward to finding similar materials or higher-tech products to improve the development level of Langsing. After she went out, where is the shuttle parked now? 800? Wu Yusen asked. Well, it's parked at 800 first. The crew members have to go up to adapt to the actual operation. After a few days, they will drive it to the launch center to wait for the launch ceremony. Lin Fan replied. Antonio kept clamoring to go along, shouting and making a fuss at 800. You didn't see that. This time when I drove the shuttle out, he insisted on following, but was suppressed by Song Ren. Lin Fan couldn't help laughing when he thought of Antonio, the living monkey. When I first met him, I thought he was a handsome and approachable guy, but after knowing him for a long time, I found that he was a scoundrel. It's not that he is a bad person, but I feel that his personality is too wild. Even OV from their P country can't control him. Every time Lin Fan saw him appear in Antonio's video, he couldn't even maintain basic demeanor and kept yelling. Although it was a mess, it must be said that it was a rare change in Lin Fan's miserable academic career. Wu Yusen couldn't help but sigh when he thought of this guy. Since you left, he has never been focused on studying again. The teacher taught him to write step by step, but he just couldn't learn. I suspect he did it on purpose. I was just about to talk to him, but he said he didn't want to learn anymore. He didn't have the talent, and he wanted to find you. He immediately took off into the sky and couldn't be stopped. Antonio is not stupid. Not only not stupid, but often he can be considered smart. He is just too lazy to think and is used to being casual. He may not have failed to notice the means used by the Special Affairs Office to delay him, but he was just free and interested in H language. He wanted to learn it in depth and have a good exchange with Lin Fan, so of course he would not reject it. He could learn it slowly. He had plenty of time. But after knowing that Lin Fan was going to board the shuttle and go to space, he could not sit still. What H language, what superpowers, all stand aside. He wanted to explore the starry sky with Lin Fan. He was a biological armor. How could ordinary people stop him from going to 800? But how could P country allow Antonio to go with Lin Fan? You are kidding. Mecha Apollo is their current confidence, equivalent to the ancient guardian beast of H country. Back then, their P country had already started to develop the star network and prepare to conquer space, but the leading advantage was broken by those damn Grow. The position of Overlord fell from the altar. As a result, they now have to rely on Apollo's deterrence and the remaining prestige accumulated from other aspects to resist H country and fight for their right to speak. Before, H country only had Xingqian. Regardless of whether they were strong or not, the female Mecha Man could always think of some tricks. As a result, there was another Fu Guang. Fu Guang had won many matches against P. He was defeated by them, but he was willing to sacrifice his life to pull everyone down. This person was stubborn and did not accept their kindness. Although it was a pity to destroy him, it was also a helpless move. No one expected that this person could still work for H country, and he turned into a blessing in disguise and became Fu Guang, the envy of the upper echelons of Lan League. Aoi was resentful, gritted his teeth, and wanted to cry. "God, where are you?" Exclamation mark. The serious imbalance of power made P-side feel like a thorn in their throat. Although Lin Fan's forced dispatch reduced the overall strength of Lan Crossing, it must be said that they were relieved. After all, it was finally a 1-to-1 situation again. Of course, it would be better if that person was Fu Guang. Finally, all good things can be expected in the future. What? Exclamation mark. Antonio wants to follow Lin Fan to explore the stars? Oh, no. Dear Antonio, you are the sun god. RP country needs your protection. You want to explore the stars? Sure. Antonio, my dear brother, wait until the situation in Lansing is stable. You can go wherever you want. Just be a little patient. It won't take long. You don't want to wait? Hey, Antonio, think about who raised you up. I'm talking about P country. Shouldn't you think about your motherland? Zoom out a little. Oh damn Antonio, what can you do to be obedient? Exclamation mark. John Woo's death without a cure. I said there is no love scene. Hahaha. Don't scold Zio Wu. Regarding the choice, I think this is more normal. I think the two parties in a relationship should be evenly matched to some extent, and such a relationship is relatively longer lasting. One party being strong or the other being too weak is not conducive to the sustainable development of the relationship. Not absolutely, it's my subjective feeling. In common life, there are many people who are desperate and abandon everything for love. When the love disappears, you find that you have nothing. You really need to be rational in relationships and not be blinded by impulse. Love yourself before loving others. The better you are, the more advantages you will have in relationships. John Woo gambled his future and waited for a reunion. Blessings. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 823 Zaohe's works. Although it was a rest before boarding the ship, Lin Fan was not completely idle. After a deep sleep, she went to ZHU Kunjin to report on her work the next morning. She didn't waste much time and followed Wu Yusen to find Zaohe. Zaohe is already a senior high school student. Since he was awakened in the summer, his study attitude has been very positive. Not to mention how much he has been working day and night. At least he has returned to a normal level and has not let down his hard work for so many years. It is not a problem to get into an ideal university. The busy high school coursework has made him rarely go to places other than home and school recently. But Lin Fan is back and will leave in a week. Zaohe must come to see her for both public and private reasons. His last blank card was specially reserved for Xingqian, a complete Xingqian card. Seeing that the students immersed in the sea of learning seemed to have found comrades in arms with the same disease, Lin Fan wanted to give Zaohe a big hug. Zaohe saw Lin Fan stand up happily, and then thought of the upcoming separation. His eyebrows drooped, like a little dog. Hey, am I so unhappy? Lin Fan smiled and stretched out his hand, stroking the boy's hair. No. Zaohe hesitated. Come on. I've wanted to see what powerful new guys you have collected in your card. Lin Fan smiled and patted Zaohe's arm, changing the subject. Zaohe quickly took out the cards in his pocket, spread them out in a fan shape, and handed them over. There are several new ones, and the most important ones are Fu Guang and Apollo. Antonio finally calmed down after being scolded by OV. It seems that he has recognized his responsibilities and no longer makes a fuss to get on the shuttle, but he still stays in 800. OV thought, this is a good opportunity. Whether to go to the Interstellar or not will not hinder the improvement of strength. Under the guise of improving the overall strength of Lansing, he put pressure on H Party to let Antonio stay in 800 to receive training with Lin Fan and others. Antonio is the wildest biological armor, but he has hardly received orthodox training. It is just right to take advantage of this atmosphere to let him improve with the two mechas. Antonio is strong. Isn't that also Langsing's strength? H side naturally didn't want to. After a lot of wrangling, they finally reached an exchange condition. Antonio will receive indiscriminate training in 800, and in exchange, the Special Affairs Office will make a card for Apollo. As for Antonio, H side was originally worried that he would learn too much, but he wandered around. He didn't train as hard as Fu Guang, nor did he absorb knowledge as densely as Lin Fan. Just like this, fishing for 3 days and drying the net for 2 days, H side soon let down their guard and no longer paid too much attention. This is how the Apollo card in Zaohe's hand came. After Fu Guang went to the Chao Envy cave to absorb the energy of the world tree, he made a special trip to the Special Envoy office to let Zaohe write it once. In addition to these, Lin Fan also saw a card with only a few light green lines on it, like a few hair strands, randomly twisted abstract patterns. "What is this?" she asked. "I originally wanted to write the world tree in." Zaohe scratched his head embarrassedly, "But I almost drained myself, so I only wrote this little bit. I don't know whether to say that a newborn calf is not afraid of a tiger, or that he is skilled and daring. How huge is the energy of the world tree? It supports the entire outer barrier of Langsing and continuously transmits spiritual energy into it." Zaohe actually wanted to write such a behemoth into the card. Fortunately, nothing happened to him. The stack of cards was not thick. Lin Fan counted them. Only one empty card is left. Zaohe bought 20 cards himself. Later, she and Wu Yusen bought 20 more for him. He already had 19 cards with patterns written on them. "Yes." Zaohe smiled and took out a blank card from another pocket. "This is the card left for Xingqian. I just don't know when I can go to the grocery store to buy another box. Sun Emo's grocery store is a once in a lifetime opportunity." "Don't worry," Wu Yusen comforted. "Your needs have been reported, and any colleague who enters the grocery store will help you keep an eye out." After chatting for a while, Zaohe began to work seriously. Although he still felt a sense of detachment when making the card this time, Lin Fan was in good condition after completing it, just a little tired. On the contrary, Zaohe's face was as pale as the empty young master. Xingqian's power is also far beyond Zaohe's current ability. Seeing him like this, Lin Fan wanted to send him back to rest. Zaohe insisted on not wanting to leave, saying that he must finish his meal with Lin Fan before leaving. The two had no choice but to go to eat in advance. In the cafeteria, they randomly met Wang Fengfeng and joined the dinner directly. Later, Zuping, Sister Chen, almost everyone who had dealt with Lin Fan, and many people who didn't know him came. Even the cafeteria chef didn't cook. Lin Fan thought about it and called me Gyro. Seeing this, Wu Yusen also asked Zhu Kunjin to come. The cafeteria of the Special Envoy office hadn't been so lively for a long time, as if it had become a big party. Lin Fan was very happy among so many enthusiastic smiling faces, as if he had tasted the taste he had not seen for a long time. She laughed and danced with everyone, and toasted with people she knew and didn't know. A reunion dinner made her belly and soul feel full. Lin Fan sat in the car, stroking her flat belly all the way, and felt that she could last a long time just by this. "Where are we going now?" Wu Yusen asked, after sending Zaohe off. Lin Fan was a little confused. "Where should we go? In theory, we should see more of the scenery or culture of Langsing at this time, to make memories in the future." But Lin Fan didn't have any place she wanted to go in particular. There were too many beautiful places and she didn't have time to see them. "Why don't we go to your house?" she suddenly suggested. "My house?" Wu Yusen almost didn't react. "Well," Lin Fan smiled and nodded, "I want to go see Dad and Mom Wu and feel the family warmth again." Wu Yusen looked at her and stepped on the accelerator to the high-speed rail station. So, in the evening, Lin Fan stood downstairs of Wu Yusen's house, hesitating. Is it not good to come to Wu Yusen's house for dinner so suddenly? Will it be too much trouble for Dad and Mom Wu? Will it cause unnecessary trouble to John Wu? Since you're here. John Wu saw her retreat, grabbed her arm, and pulled her into the building with a little force. "Yes, since you're here, why are you being so pretentious now?" Lin Fan smiled with relief, followed John Wu upstairs, and saw him knocking on the familiar door. Father and Mother Wu suddenly received a call from their son saying that he would bring his colleagues back for dinner in the evening. Time was tight and the task was heavy. The two old people complained about their son while they were busy. When the door opened and they saw the young girl behind their son, they had no complaints. Mother Wu pushed away the person standing in the way, took a quick look at Lin Fan, and shook Lin Fan's hand enthusiastically. "Oh, where did this distinguished guest come from? Coming quickly." Lin Fan called the person with a smile and followed Mother Wu's force into the house. She remembered that last time, it was Mother Wu who brought her into the house. Except for the size, they were exactly the same. Father Wu also turned around with a smile and followed the two of them, ignoring his own son who was still outside the door. No one greeted Wu Yusen, and he went into the house and opened the door resignedly. The three people were already chatting on the sofa. In response to Wu Ma's questions, Lin Fan answered everything she knew. As for her relationship with Wu Yusen, she replied that they were friends and colleagues. However, Wu Ma and Wu Bei obviously thought wrongly. They looked at each other with an expression of "I understand, but I won't expose you." Lin Fan looked up at Wu Yusen who was walking towards the sofa and apologized. As a result, the two elders became more excited and asked questions one after another. In the end, Wu Yusen stopped them. "Okay, we are back for dinner. If you keep asking questions like this, when can we have dinner?" "Oh, right. The two elders hurriedly got up. Eat first. After that, one of them glared at Wu Yusen and hurried to the kitchen. Lin Fan fell on the sofa and giggled. Wu Yusen walked over, squatted in front of her and asked, "Are you happy?" "Yeah." Lin Fan pulled a pillow and hugged it in her arms and replied with curved eyebrows. "Happy, very happy." Chapter 824 Quan Ying Dang's Gift. After dinner, the two elders of the Wu family didn't bother to clean up the table and pulled Lin Fan to the sofa to chat. The atmosphere was warm and beautiful. It seemed that everything had returned to the time when she was Lin Xiaogui. She enjoyed this atmosphere, but the bells would always ring at Cinderella's ball. As soon as 9 o'clock passed, Lin Fan asked to leave. With her current status, it was really not suitable for her to stay overnight. Even if she wanted to relive the old days, she couldn't be too tricky to Wu Yusen. Just today's incident, I don't know how long he would have to explain to Wu's father and mother. Lin Fan has always been afraid of troubling others, but before leaving, he was a little willful and dug a small pit for Wu Yusen, and he felt very refreshed. Sometimes good friends don't have to worry so much. Is she a bad friend like this? Wu Yusen saw her glance at him and smiled mischievously, and he smiled too. The two put their hands in their pockets and walked slowly to the outside of the community to wait for the car. "Where do you want to go now?" Wu Yusen asked. Lin Fan thought for a moment. "I don't know." "Aren't you planning to go back home?" Lin Fan stopped laughing, lowered her eyes, and looked at the smooth road under her feet. "I don't know how to tell them about leaving and about Xingqian. But we have to say goodbye anyway." Wu Yusen glanced at her drooping face and said softly, "Well, so I chose to let them know the day before the ceremony." Lin Fan turned her head and smiled at him. "By then, there will be no extra time for me to choose, and their sadness will come later." Wu Yusen smiled and teased, "I thought you had stopped avoiding it." "Well." Lin Fan also laughed, "I have indeed changed a lot, but for my parents, at least I'm now decisive and can make decisions quickly and clearly, and I'm no longer as hypocritical as before." "Okay." Wu Yusen smiled and said yes repeatedly. "In the future, probably there won't be anything that I need to avoid, right?" Lin Fan added slowly, the loneliness in his tone difficult to conceal. The moment she stepped out of Langsing, she would no longer have any deep feelings for strangers and unknown things that would make her feel torn, and naturally she would not need to escape. Wu Yusen opened her mouth to speak, but she didn't know where to start. Just then, the taxi arrived, and Lin Fan opened the door and got in directly. Come on, hurry up. What fun things are there in your hometown? Take me to see it quickly." Wu Yusen saw her expectant expression and stopped talking about things that would ruin the mood and smiled and got into the car. "We have a lot of places to play here. You didn't see them when you were young. This time I will take you to appreciate them." After playing aimlessly for 2 days, Lin Fan went to ZHU Kunjan's office to report. The two didn't say much, and after tacitly completing the process, they returned to their own office to pick up the luggage bag that had been packed long ago, and saw Wu Yusen when they went out. He looked inside through the open door, and it seemed that nothing had changed, and the things were almost in their original places. "Have you brought enough things?" He looked at the sack in Lin Fan's hand. It looked quite big, but it was empty. Lin Fan's stuff could only fit 1/3 of it at most. "I didn't bring much. I left most of the things I had worn before. I was afraid I would miss them when I saw them later." Lin Fan smiled faintly. "I only brought some clothes that I hadn't had the chance to wear yet and didn't have any memories of, and some ID cards. Let's make a deal first. You have to keep my office for me. I'll come back." Lin Fan said exaggeratedly. "Well, I'll wait for you to come back." Wu Yusen smiled gently. "Let's go. I'll take you to the launch base. I can finally step down as the leader." Lin Fan took the bag from him. "Then you can be considered relieved." Turning back, he took another deep look at the office and closed the door. The two of them didn't walk far when they were stopped by Kuan Dang. "Fortunately we made it in time," he panted, and even his beard revealed his relief. "Do you have something to talk to me about?" Lin Fan asked. Kuan Dang didn't show up at the last party. Although Lin Fan felt a little sorry, he also knew that their weapon refining group had been very busy since the increase in spiritual energy, and their time had been squeezed to the extreme. They may not even have time to sleep, and perhaps they didn't pay attention to the fact that she was about to leave. Kuan Dang took a deep breath before walking up to her. "I heard that you had a big party 2 days ago, but I didn't have time to attend. Can you sit with me and have a drink now?" "Okay." Lin Fan naturally agreed. She had plenty of time, and a small gathering with Kuan Dang just made up for the regret in her heart. The three of them went to the cafeteria, ordered some drinks and snacks, and sat down. There were quite a few people in the cafeteria, but this time, no one came forward to disturb them. They stayed far away and tacitly left the space for them. The three of them were not talkative people. After finishing the food on the table, Kuan Dang took out a box. "For you." Lin Fan took it in surprise. "You also prepared a gift for me? You didn't mean to give it to me just now, because I didn't agree to have a drink with you?" She deliberately teased, laughing freely, without showing any sadness or reluctance. Kuan Dang breathed a sigh of relief. "Of course not. I just want to spend some more time with you." Wu Yusen cleaned up the garbage on the table neatly, and Lin Fan slowly opened the box. "These things are the best works our team can show. I just finished refining them. I was afraid that they would not succeed, so I didn't tell you in advance, and I was also afraid that I would not be able to catch up. Fortunately." Kuan Dang grinned. "The god of luck still favors us." There are 4 rings in the box that are similar to the thin wire bracelets on her wrist, as well as several small rings, several earrings with beautiful flower patterns, and rings as small accessories. They are all very delicate and beautiful. Lin Fan knew that these were naturally not ordinary things, but looking at these exquisite and beautiful small items, her heart was full of touch. People in the refining group have always paid more attention to practicality than beauty. From the few magic tools and treasures she has come into contact with, she knows that they can't be said to be ugly, but they are not good looking either. They are just average. This time, he actually paid special attention to the appearance of the treasure. Although function is the most important, who wouldn't like beautiful things more? "Thank you," Lin Fan said sincerely. In addition to thanking her, she didn't know what else she could do. No. Kuan Dang waved his hand. "Take off the bracelet on your hand. I will refine it together with the others to make a set of bracelets." Lin Fan put down the box and took off Kan Leo's thin bracelet without hesitation. Kuan Dang took the bracelet, took out a few other circles from the box, and put them together, and then buckled the unsealed small circles onto several bracelets. A blue flame as big as a green bean emerged from his fingertips, burning at the broken part, muttering something in his mouth. Soon, the small circle became a closed loop, and there was no trace of the interface at all. These bracelets, the twisted ones are storage spaces, the smooth ones are the director's golden bell, which can be triggered both actively and passively. The long and flat one contains the sword intent of the senior brother, and the one with small water droplets is the advanced healing sealed in by Teacher Me. Although you have strong healing power, it still takes time to deal with the serious damage of the hole. Teacher Me can recover in seconds after triggering this, not only for yourself, but also for others. These small circles are the full efforts of colleagues from various elements in the institute. Although they are not as good as the big guys, and you may not be able to use them, they are their intentions. The more means the better in an emergency. We made different patterns on the small circles. If you look closely, you can see the patterns of water, fire, wood, earth, and gold. The small twisted circle contains the purification spell of the supernatural department, and the small bell is the soul-soothing bell. Quan Yin Dang's introduction was meticulous and thoughtful, and Lin Fan wanted to cry again after listening. How could such a deep friendship be betrayed? How could he give it up? Chapter 825. He is a liar. When Lin's mother opened the door and saw Wu Yusen, she was stunned for a moment. She leaned out and looked, but didn't see her daughter. Zio Wu, why are you here? Isn't my Lin Fan back yet? She asked him to come in, and looked out again. She closed the door when she saw no movement. Lin's father heard the noise and came out of the room, happily taking out the good tea to entertain the guests. Uncle and aunt, stop busying yourself. Wu Yusen felt bitter as he looked at the two old people's smiles of knowing nothing. Lin Fan is busy on an important mission and can't get away, so she asked me to take you two to see her. Has she achieved results in her work? Lin's father was very happy when he heard it and sat directly next to Wu Yusen to ask. Even Lin's mother was waiting to hear it with expectation. Yes, she has achieved results. The higher-ups are going to award Lin Fan a medal. She hopes that you two old people can be present on such an important occasion to share her joy. Wu Yusen said calmly. The medals really have to be awarded, and they have to be awarded collectively before this group of people leave. But letting Lin's father and mother go is not just to share joy. Oh my. Lin's father slapped his thigh excitedly, as expected of my daughter. She is so amazing. Seeing that Lin's father was so happy that he hadn't reacted yet, Lin's mother asked, what is the medal? It's the country/awarding medals in a public ceremony to commend individuals for their outstanding contributions or achievements. Wu Yusen explained. Lin's father made sure that he had heard it correctly, rubbing his hands and standing up and pacing back and forth. After thinking about it, he didn't know how to celebrate, so he took out the good wine in the cabinet and opened a bottle. This is a great thing. We have to celebrate it well. Lin's mother was stunned by the sudden big fireworks, and she didn't bother to stop Lin's father. My Xianofan can get a national medal? Is she so amazing? Why can't she? Lin's father subconsciously refuted. She studied art design. What contribution can she make that needs to be commended by the country? Lin's mother was puzzled. Lin's father thought about it, and it seemed to be right. I haven't heard that people who draw can be so good as to be awarded medals, and the wine in his hand suddenly didn't smell good. Zio Wu. After Lin Fan joined our company, she became the director of the New Technology Research and Development Department. She did not continue to do her previous work, but developed new technologies related to aerospace. And she has indeed made great and indelible contributions, so the higher-ups decided to give her this honor. Wu Yusen explained. The two elders nodded slowly after listening, but they felt something was wrong. How can she, a painter, go into aerospace technology? Lin's mother still couldn't understand. Lin's father was also confused. Although he was bragging about his daughter, this matter was indeed a bit outrageous. Lin Fan had no talent in this area since she was a child. She chose liberal arts in high school and studied art in college. In summary, her 10 years of work were just drawing. How come she went to work after being sick for a few years and went to study aerospace technology? Is this a disease? Did she suddenly become enlightened? She didn't need to learn anything, but in a few years she surpassed scientists who had been studying for decades. The only thing the couple could associate high technology with their daughter was appearance design. But no matter how impressive he is, he can't surpass other senior scientists and rise to the level of national commendation, right? The more the couple thought about it, the less reliable it was. Then they thought about the fact that Lin Fan himself didn't come back. This Zio Wu, maybe he's a liar. Well, Let's call Fan and ask. Wu's father looked around for his phone. Wu Yusen could see the doubts on their faces. He smiled and took out the video that Lin Fan had recorded in advance. Uncle, Lin Fan is under confidentiality policy now and can't answer your calls. We'll go there later and you'll see him naturally. Oh, Lin's father just saw the news about AI face changing on the video and rubbed his sweater in a bit of a panic. What project are you working on? Have we heard about it? Seeing that Lin's father was useless, Lin's mother took the lead. Sorry, auntie, these are currently top secrets and I can't tell you for the time being. Wu Yusen replied with a smile. Lin's mother gave Lin's father a look and confirmed that he was a liar. Father Lin was still hesitating. Xiao Wu was Lin Fan's friend. He had stayed at home for several days during the Chinese New Year. He didn't look like a liar. Besides, what was he trying to do? It would be bad if there was a misunderstanding. Mother Lin hated Father Lin for being a coward. It was so obvious that there was no need to hesitate. But she was afraid of middle-aged man like Wu Yusen. She didn't dare to show her feelings on the surface. She just stared at Father Lin with a cramp in her eyes. Wu Yusen secretly observed for a while, and when the two of them had almost finished their ideological struggle, he spoke. I know about this matter. It's a bit sudden, a bit unbelievable, and it sounds particularly unreliable. In order to make uncle and aunt believe that what I said is true and reliable, I specially asked the director of the police station in your area to help me prove it. They are downstairs now. Father Lin and Mother Lin followed the direction he pointed and saw a police car parked downstairs. The two old men leaned out and stared at the red and blue lights on the roof of the car for a long time, but they didn't shrink back. Hey, could the police car be fake? Mother Lin asked in a low voice, turning her head to Wu Yusen who followed her. No way. Lin's father hesitated. How dare the bad guys do so now? Bad guys are much smarter than ordinary people like us. Lin's mother said firmly. But I haven't looked at the police car carefully. Who knows if it is real or fake? Lin's father regretted. If he had known this day would come, he would have studied the police car thoroughly. What should we do now? Lin's mother threw the question to Lin's father. Before Lin's father had time to think of an answer, the door rang again. The old couple especially hoped that a neighbor or a good friend would come, but when the door opened, two policemen stood there. Hello, I'm the director of the Gaocheng North District Police Station, and this is my ID. The visitor was pregnant and handed over his ID with a friendly smile. Lin's father took it in a daze and stared at it for a long time. How is it? Lin's mother asked in a low voice next to him. I haven't seen a police officer's ID either. Lin's father replied in frustration. Normal people who can easily see this thing. Lin's mother glared at Lin's father. There is a wolf in front and a tiger behind. What should they do? If you two have doubts about my identity, you can search it online. The fat director didn't mind being questioned at all and suggested with a smile, now that government affairs are open and information is transparent, you two will definitely find my information on the government affairs network or the official website of the public A system. When Lin's father and mother heard this, they both took out their mobile phones, but found that they didn't know how to check. But if they gave their mobile phones to John Wu or the fat director, they felt that they might be tampered with and unreliable. How about this? You two can go to the police station with us and verify it. The fat director originally wanted to help John Wu prove that his words were credible, but now he had to prove his identity first. Or John Wu saw the fear of the two elders and said that he and the police officers would go to the police station first and wait for the two elders to put on two sets of clothes before taking a taxi to the police station. Thinking of the scene when he first met Lin Fan, he couldn't help laughing. Genetics are really amazing. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.